Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Friday Draft League. This is week two, and I am Willie. I'm going to be the play-by-play caster. I'm filling in this week, and I am joined by my co-caster Zyduk, who's feeling
Oh,
a he's feeling a little bit under the weather, so he's keeping the
mhm.
camera off. I hope you guys don't mind, but you still have me to look at, so it's not all bad. Um, so, week two, we've got petty theft crime dogs, who we will be referring to as, no disrespect intended, the dogs. And on the other side of the aisle, we've got No R, who, funnily enough, their abbreviation is No R. So, easy enough to remember. Now we were talking about this a little bit before the stream went live, but Zyduk, I believe you mentioned that the lane that we think is going to have the most action this time is the top lane. Is that right?
Yeah, the top lane in this matchup, they're the two big dogs as you would say, given the team name. They're both the captains for the team, Sonic the Rock and the Bug Catcher. They like to play these bruisers, these heavy fighting styles. So hopefully we'll see some scrappy solo kills up in that top lane. Should be exciting.
Yeah, both of these top laners do pick those heavy beat 'em up champions, those melee fighters that like to get in close. Seems both of them play a good amount of sets, so I think that'll be a hotly contested pick, at least for
Oh,
game one. We'll see if either one of them switches up though and picks
mhm.
a tank or something like that.
Yeah.
Moving on to the jungle, we see that the dogs like to play these heavy tanky engaged champs, the
Mhm.
Sejuani, the Zac. On the other side, no R. It seems like he picks a little bit more fighter-ish types, not quite as tanky. The Jarvan, the
Yeah.
Viego. He's got a bit of carry capability
Mhm.
there, which I think will be exciting to see.
Yeah, he's trying to go into those team fights and he's trying to make the most out of it, as opposed to the more supportive style, looking for that pick, looking for those early ganks, try to facilitate this pressure they have in the top and mid lane.
Yep, and talking about the bot side of the map, there's also going to be a couple picks that I believe we're going to see banned out for most of the games. For the side of No R, we see their mid laner has played nearly 200 games of Anivia. That's more than double any of his other champs, so I think
Hmm.
Anivia will be an easy ban for the
Yeah,
side of the dogs. I believe there was one other pick. I'm forgetting the pick, but there's one other pick here. I'm forgetting it, so that's totally my bad. But other than that, I think it's going to be an exciting game. I think we're going to see a lot of fighting, especially in the
hmm,
top lane. Wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw a bunch of solo kills coming out. Not sure who is going to take home the winning lane though, because both
hmm.
of these top laners are diamond players. They're both pretty up there in ranks, so they
Yeah,
both they've got a grasp and a fundamental knowledge of what their champions do. I don't expect them to make too many mistakes, but it's totally possible that one of them could become the carry and win the series for their team.
yeah. It'll be exciting to see what they pick. As I think in a minute we're heading into draft.
We're getting closer
So,
and closer to the draft. The draft
mhm.
is set up. Nobody's picking yet, but we should be there in just a moment. What a oh, the other pick I believe is for the dogs. I believe it's the Kaisa. Their
Yeah,
ADC does prefer the Kaisa, so I wouldn't be surprised if that is an easy ban for the side of no R. But I do believe we're just about to get into the draft.
mhm.
Um, I think No R is going to be missing out on two bans. They were a little bit late
Yeah.
to pick and ban, so we are heading over to the draft here. And we'll see what the
Yeah.
dogs decide for their first blue side ban.
Syndra taken away.
So
Hmm.
Syndra is actually No R's second most played mid
Yeah.
laner. So I believe if they're banning the Syndra, that they're either also going to ban the Anivia or they've got something cooked up in order to either match or deny the Anivia from getting into the game. So it's either a counter or they're going to be banning Anivia within the next two pans. But we'll
Hmm.
see.
And the dogs here, they generally have high prio on the Yumi and banning the Milio away from themselves. As I was about to say, they generally like to pick that one up, and I was going to say that could be detrimental with Noah losing these bans, but we're just going to see this ban timeout as the Milio is taken away. It's been nerfed a bit on this patch, but I would still expect it to be very impactful in these laning phases, and in the team fights.
Yep, still a very strong champion with that global cleanse, and of course the increased range that he gets. It's pretty impactful if you know how to use it. So not a bad ban at all. And we'll also see the Lulu come out as a third ban. So a
Yeah.
little bit support focused here.
So now Noah can't get a last ban here, which would lead me to think that dogs are going to try pick up this Yumi first. Although that has also been nerfed on 13-12. I'm not sure if it's been nerfed into the ground and it's unplayable, and they're going to try to pick something else up, or whether they're going to look towards first picking this Yumi.
And we'll see what they go for. I wouldn't be surprised if they even first pick the set just to deny it from the side of No R. But we've got 20 seconds on the clock here, and we'll have to see what they decide to do.
Sejuani first pick.
Not a bad pick.
The jungler, as we were talking about.
Yeah, definitely a jungler there.
Loves the jungler on the side of dogs, loves these tanky, these engagey junglers to set up and play around the laners that they have available to them.
Yep, some heavy engage, good front line. It's never that bad of a pick, especially in these organized games.
And Nautilus being picked up from Noah. Now, I believe the mid laner of Noah has also enjoyed flexing this Nautilus into the mid lane. So that could be a nice bit of a flex pick we have going on here.
Yeah, I do see in his match history for No R, their mid laner has played that Nautilus, and their support looks like they prefer their enchanters. So I do think that Nautilus will most likely be heading into the middle lane. We see Jinx picked up for No R here. Yeah, and I definitely wouldn't be surprised if they decide to go for a third pick, an Enchanter support. Enchanters match very well with Jinx, just boosting her init power, and when she gets that passive going, it's really hard to stop her.
Now Braum has been picked up here, which is just it's a direct counter to this Nautilus in the bot lane, and Neeko being hovered as well. Neeko's also been picked up here, which has been terrorizing solo queue for a few weeks now. It's a bit of a triple flex between mid lane, jungle, and support. Curious to see where that goes. Although I don't think it would be mid and jungle because Braum and Sejuani have been picked, but who knows? Anything could happen, right?
Yeah, not a bad pick at all. Neeko it has been very strong. I've seen her most often going for the proto belt, blending in with the minion wave, proto belting forward, and the ult. I don't think it cancels your passive, so it just looks like a minion's rushing at you, and it's kind of hard to react to that. We do see the Victor for the side of No R, so it looks like we may get a bit more bot lane focused again for the side of dogs, as they have not picked their ADC. Pantheon ban for the side of No R, so they are looking to give their top laner a bit of an easier time.
Yeah, and an interesting thing is with the Victor picked up, that means it's going to be the Nautilus in support. This Jinx Nautilus lane here is going to be is a lane that's been around for a while as Jinx has started to pick up. It's not been her most preferred support, but it's definitely laneable, and people have enjoyed it in the past. So
yeah, it was a little bit of a surprise to me, but still, dogs is going. It seems like they're going for a very tanky, heavy front line for their comp. The side of No R does have some decent ways to cut that down, though. Victor, I believe, can go Liandry's pretty easily and get that percent health damage. And Jinx has been known to, at 3 items, really start shredding through tanks. I'm a little bit unsure of how she does on this patch with Infinity Edge being a mythic and Kraken sort of swapping with Infinity Edge, but we'll have to see how that goes in this game.
I think Jinx has fallen off priority quite a bit, but she's still Jinx. If she can get these items, start picking up, she can destroy in the team fights. Maokai also banned is that jungle options as they're running out of options into this Sejuani. It's a very tanky champion that can also thrive in the 1v1. So a lot of your classic 1v1 champions like your Viego and your Kayn that they like to pick up can struggle. Rel picked
Ooh.
up here.
This is exciting. I've actually seen Rel
Wait,
jungle
what's
played a little
that?
bit before. I think it might be your Rel jungle.
It could be.
That would
The
be a
clear
very,
on
very exciting pick.
the clear on Rel jungle is surprisingly fast and healthy. I was playing it as it got released, and I was just blown away by how quickly it could clear with Renekton and Xayah picked up for the side of Dogs here.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I still kind of don't know what the new Rel does after they changed up her abilities. So, but I totally expected the jungle pick to come out first, and no R to give their top laner that counter pick in the top lane.
Yeah.
We'll have to see what it is. Renekton's a pretty good counter in a set just because you can take his shield away with your empowered W. So we'll see if they decide to go with something else here, and it will be the Aatrox matching
the
Renekton.
Aatrox. That's a little bit of Sonic the Rock's one trick in the Aatrox they've been picking up more recently. Received buffs on 13.11, I believe, because it was struggling, especially with Gordrink and not being the strongest item right now. And yeah, it's been successful for Sonic the Rock in solo queue, but as far as the draft league goes, both these teams are yet to win a single game. They're both 0-2 in their games, so.
Yep, both of these teams fighting it out here to get their first win in this tournament. Now, looking at both these team comps, I want to ask you your opinion first. Which side are you giving the edge to? Are you giving it to Dogs on the blue side or no R on the red side?
I think I'm giving it to Noah here.
You giving it to no R?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with Dogs here.
You think?
It's a little bit of a disagreement. You know, I could see it going either way.
Yeah.
The Rel is especially is the surprising pick to me. I think the Rel could be the game changer. They might not know how to deal with it, but for the side of Dogs, they've got a really heavy front line. They've got pretty good mixed damage. That Xayah should be a really safe pick. I don't see a way for no R to really get on top of that Xayah unless there's some heavy misplays there. And you've also got that surprise factor with the Neeko. They've also got really good ultimates in Braum and Sejuani, really good interrupt, so they can sort of control the flow of a team fight. So that's why I think Dogs has the edge here. But I do think it could go either way. Lots of mixed damage on either teams, and like we mentioned before, top lane is going to be a fist fight. It's going to be a battle. We're going to see if there's going to be any solo kills in the top lane, and see if one of them decides to solo carry in game one.
Yeah, Renekton has been a very strong pick into Aatrox for years now, with the ability to slice and dice out of Aatrox's W, get on top of him, stun him, keep him in place, and then you can also go for a somewhat of an executioner's calling first item to try and limit some of the healing coming through from that Aatrox. So I think it's maybe a risky pick in the top lane, but I know there'll definitely be a lot of action.
Yep, he's definitely got to be confident with the Aatrox. They did give him the counter, so you know he thinks he can do it. We're just gonna have to see if he really can or not. And any last thoughts before we head into the break before game one?
Yeah, I just think the scaling coming through from Noah and the range is probably going to be enough to out team fight in this game, but anything can happen. It's draft league. Things tend to get crazy, so we'll see how it goes.
All right, and we are going to head into the break here as we go into the delay. Don't go anywhere because the game will be right back in just a couple minutes. Welcome back, everybody. We are in game, and it looks like we're going to see a pretty standard 5-point from both teams, except looks like Aatrox is still chilling in base for a little bit.
What's happening in chat?
You're chatting a little bit in the game. Not a big deal. Let's see, rune choices. Conqueror for both top laners. Oh my goodness, it's a Nautilus jungle. Let me point that out real quick. It's a Nautilus jungle. It's actually a Rel support, which I don't know. I haven't seen Nautilus jungle in a long time. I don't know how good this pick is or whether it's gonna work or not. But I suppose it's got pretty decent ganks. He can hook. He can use his autos to get a root. His W gives his autos a slow as well. So he's got the CC to make ganks work. You see him starting on his red buff in the top side, and the dogs will be starting bot side red buff. First strike on the Victor. He thinks he's going to be able to get some poke on this Nico before she can respond. Get a little bit of free gold. Get a scaling going. Oh my goodness, the flash in level 1, but she autos a minion and gets stunned, and that's just going to be Rel's flash and a big chunk of health off of her. So, not a very good level 1 play from Proxy. They are going to hit level 2 first for the red side, but Rel's got no flash anymore, so there's not going to be any plays to be made there. We do see both junglers on their bot sides of the map, but it looks like Sejuani is probably going to go for either a mid gank and then to her top camps and then full clear. Maybe Nautilus will go for an early gank for the bottom lane, but we'll see what happens. Zyduck, are you still with us?
Yeah, sorry, just lagged out again for some reason.
Everything okay? Okay, oh, what a big fight in the bot lane. They're going in. Rel's got no flash. He ignites on Xayah, but they ignite the Rel back. The flash forward. Looks like they're going to flash on the Xayah. Xayah heal and flash, but she will be dying for first blood. Rel gets away. Braum will limp out into the river, and that is first blood for Noir for that Nautilus jungle pick, which no one, I think, was expecting to see.
That was certainly surprising when that came up. Sorry about the delay and everything. I have zero clue what happened.
Yeah, no worries. A little bit of a delay. Not a big deal. Looks
It's
like
this,
Renekton is getting some really good trades in the top lane. He dashes in, quick little trade, and dashes out before Aatrox can react. That's exactly the way you want to play that.
I think honestly a lot of the problem came with this Aatrox thing when he started to leash and Renekton got priority over the raid. He got to choose whatever he wanted to do with it, and then if Aatrox gets on the back foot in this matchup, it can really start to be a problem. Sejuani's taken away the Krugs of Nautilus and
engage onto the Xayah here, but the Braum is there to help her out, so nothing comes of it. That Xayah does have to be a little bit careful. Aatrox has to be a little bit careful. He's getting ganked here. He'll flash out, but he does get the chains onto Sejuani, but she'll run out and get out of there. Neeko with a stun. Victor reacts with his gravity field. A little bit of trading all around, but overall, that's just going to be Aatrox flashing out. Rel going in. Xayah is stunned up. Jinx with the rockets. Rel is stunned, but nobody is hitting Jinx, and Jinx just gets to freely kill Xayah there. Rel going back in. Jinx kites down to the bush, loses minion aggro. That's a really smart play, and that'll be a double kill for Noir's ADC.
Yeah, that was really well played from Noir there in this, the pure 2v2 coming out from Admiral Levi and Proxy there.
This Xayah died earlier in the gank, and now has no summoners, but she is not respecting the engage from Rel, just assuming that she can beat them straight up in a 2v2, and she gets punished for it. I think, personally, you have to have your Braum step up and get the stun onto the enemy ADC. If he's allowed to free fire like that, it doesn't matter if the support is getting hit, because he's getting all of his damage off. Rel is not the one dealing all this damage. It's the Jinx.
Yeah. And, I mean, Rel in this current iteration, without the clunkiness she used to have, can engage from these much weirder angles and make a lot more plays than she used to be able to in these 2v2 fights. And although Xayah is one of the strongest laning AD carries in terms of pure 2v2 power, it's, with no sums, it was a scary one for her to step up there and tank the full combo of Rel, and then Jinx was just able to free hit.
Yeah, this Jinx very smartly stepped. I wanted to highlight that, very smartly stepped into the bot lane brush and lost minion aggro. Going for a hard engage here, flash forward. Braum is getting low, but Rel is tanking the tower and dies. A little bit greedy there, going for that kill onto the Braum, but he is too tanky to go down there, and they just tank way too many tower shots and get punished for it.
Just not juggling the tower aggro as well as they
flash forward. They're three-manning this Aatrox. Well, he's got no flash, and that's going to be a kill instantly. Going over to the Sejuani. So a very nice three-man in the top lane there, and very, very smart play, ganking him while he has no flash. They took no risk there. The Renekton flashed onto him to make sure that he couldn't get away.
Yeah, this Sejuani and Renekton combo has been a what was prevalent was the Sejuani was incredibly strong all throughout last year because of the empowered W on Renekton allows for 3 auto attacks which almost instantly procs Sejuani's passive, allowing her to get the E and get the stun. And it allows for a lot of CC and a lot of damage coming out from that 2v2.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, but there's going to be a big fight here in the middle lane as they are going onto this Victor. Victor flashes away towards his support in jungle who have arrived to help him out. Oh, they accidentally go on the clone for a little bit, so Neeko's going to get away, but are they going to be able to secure the kill onto Sejuani? She will flash out very low ults, and nobody dies. Oh, I spoke a little too soon. He flips the Neeko into Victor's gravity field. Nautilus flashes forward, but Neeko's able to go invisible just in time, and she misses the Q onto Nautilus. And again, nobody dies. That is crazy.
A lot of flashing health bars around there. No one going down there is quite unfortunate for both teams, or fortunate depending on the way you look at it. And
yeah, that could have gone either way. Very, very close fight.
Tanking a full Q there, it's getting really nervy. No, just going to recall and be safe. Teleport coming back up as Aatrox is making a roam down to the mid lane. Is anything going to happen here?
It's Victor playing a little bit with fire. Aatrox is looking for something, but he's going to get rooted, and nothing is going to happen here. It was a nice try, but nothing comes of it, and he will have to take the walk of shame back to his top lane where Renekton is crashing the wave.
Hey, he's gonna lose a hell of a lot for that as well. He's gonna lose this cannon, and a plate is going to go.
Well, a
to
flash
the
forward, the jungler has arrived. Braum lands the Q, but Jinx is walking away with it. But they are going to get the kill on Rel for their troubles. Nothing wrong with that. If Sejuani had maybe had her ult there, I think Jinx would definitely die, but she used it in the mid lane fight, so she is not able to secure that kill onto the ADC.
And the Jinx, however, is starting to fall behind, with gold being about even between the Zyra and the Jinx here, I believe. So the bounty that the Jinx had once accrued and the lead that Jinx had accrued has now gone missing. His first rake is going to go to the side of the dogs.
And a good pickup here. They pick up the first dragon for the blue side. No, the dogs pick up the first dragon. And that's just the way you gotta do it. You go kill their bot lane, you get a free dragon. That's it's just a smart way to do it. Noir is going to try and respond by picking up the Herald, and seems that dogs don't have any vision on the top side of the map here, so that too is going to be uncontested.
Yeah, and if Aatrox plays this wave, well, there's maybe a dive opportunity on this top side, on this Renekton, to maybe bring some life and bring some air back into this matchup, but if not, it's just going to be the Herald secured for the side of Noir.
Yep, Renekton smartly doing a dash forward, small trade, dashing back out, but not so smartly walking into these two players here, and they are going to kill this Renekton.
So
the pile up, but Renekton, it manages to kill Rel. And Renekton has not died, and they turn it around to kill 3 members of Noir.
It's so many pure stats coming through when Renekton pops that Dominus, and there just wasn't enough damage coming out from the Rel Nautilus and this Aatrox, which has fallen behind. It's not the most damaging members of Noir that you could have had in that fight, is it?
Renekton proxying here. He's going for an execute. Is he gonna get it? No! Nautilus arrives just in time to throw the hook directly into this Renekton face and pick up the kill.
And Herald's also going to be placed into this top lane. Aatrox is going to be able to walk that out and...
Oh, the flash forward! The Q for the stun. Both of the champions are stunned. Braum ult. And now Rel has to kite back, but no, she goes back in on her horse. She's getting stunned up by Braum, and Jinx does not look interested in helping at all. And dogs pick up a kill on the Rel in the bot lane.
Yeah, it just seemed like this communication there between the AD carry and supports of Noir. Jinx moving away as well, tried to go and get that flick with the remount. It's the Herald crashes, does some trading. That's all it's going to be.
Yeah, and you can see maybe a little bit of frustration from Noir. Oh, but let me stop what I'm saying here. Big fight in the mid lane. Victor gets tricked by Neeko's passive, and he's running away, but he doesn't run far enough, and Neeko is able to land the Q and secure the kill. Victor flashed away, but it was not enough, and Neeko is able to keep her flash, which is going to be huge for any upcoming fights. But she might have to use it here to get away. No, she is just fast enough. The Nautilus flashed forward, but hooked a minion. Super unlucky, but we see the Jinx rocket barreling down the map. And it's just not enough, and Neeko lives to see another day. Dogs are up 8-4 with a 3,000 gold lead right now.
Yeah, there's just leads all over the map for dogs. The bot lane, the mid lane, all up on gold, up on these kills, and they're just up on pressure everywhere. The I think the avenue that Noir had was their bot lane, but a lot of this pressure that they did have, Rel then tried to expend it, making plays on the mid lane and the top lane, and Jinx has been falling behind to this Xayah with this Cole here, just getting a smooth.
Going in here, Xayah flashes away. Rel is going in with the ult, but they're just too close to the tower, and they're not able to get anything there. I'm thinking what's happening here is proxy on the Rel. Oh, but before I finish that thought, there is a gank coming in the top lane. They're looking for a dive, but all the ults are used, and they decide to back off. They are not going to pull the trigger there. Oh, but maybe they are pulling the trigger there. Aatrox's ult has run out. Sejuani's going in. He's looking for the stun.
Getting outplayed.
Aatrox misses the third Q on both the Renekton and Sejuani and will die. And that might be a tower? No, the plates are still up, so I don't think that'll be a tower just yet.
Might be able to get that second to last plate. It's trying to clear out the wave, but Aatrox teleport is back up as the plate's full, but the Renekton decides to base.
Yeah, both of these top laners have teleport available, and it looks like Dragon will be coming up soon in the next 30 seconds or so. But I do want to say, right now, it looks like Noah's only hope is getting their Jinx to scale and to hard carry this game. And what it looks like is happening is their support, the Rel, is a little bit trigger happy. She's going for these really hard engages, and Jinx either is unable or unwilling to follow up. But we see both mid laners use their ults. Neeko one-shots the Victor, and that's going to be a 3-0 and 3 Neeko for the side of Dogs. It is getting more and more dire. So they've got to get this Jinx online and fast, or it could be game over very quickly.
Yeah, that trickery can be a tough one to deal with coming out from that Neeko, can't it? We've all experienced that, walking up into the wave, thinking everything's safe, and then being knocked up and slammed down by that Neeko. As the second Drake here is going to be picked up by the side of the Dogs, going to put them 2 away from soul points and put them in a very good position to start closing out this game. With the Chem Soul coming up. I feel like every game we've casted again has been a Chem Soul, but
maybe I haven't been keeping track. It's not that bad. I feel like people say that it's a really bad soul, but honestly, I don't feel like it's that bad. I think the problem with it is that you don't really see its effects, but there's a gank mid coming in. Sejuani looking for the stun here, walks out of this Victor stun. Gonna be able to get that stun down on Victor, and that's just gonna be an easy kill. Victor with no flash, no ult, not going to be able to respond to that gank at all.
Yeah. It's looking more and more dire. 0-3 on the Victor, 0-4 on this Rel pick, as they just keep engaging as the turret falls. The first turret in the bot lane.
Again, we see this Rel going in. Is anything going to come out of it? Rel actually flashes down. They are going hard for this Xayah, but the Xayah ult, Jinx ult goes sideways. Sejuani is here to help secure the kills on this bot lane, and it just looks like the game is starting to fall apart. The Jinx has died. Rel just seemingly engaging whenever her abilities are off cooldown.
Yeah, it felt like a bit of a comedy of errors thing, but is anything coming of it? Or just some trading fighting over this one?
There is a big fight here happening, but they are going to look for the Braum stun onto this Nautilus. Xayah's here to back them up, but the Victor ult is dealing a good bit of damage. Nautilus flash forward and the hook onto the ADC. That's going to be a shutdown, and I think they're going to be able to chase these guys down. Victor flash onto the Sejuani is going to pick up the second kill, and there is nowhere for him to go. That's going to be a third kill, but Neeko in the back knocked up Protobelt, but is Nautilus going to be able to peel his Victor? Renekton teleported down. Victor running away. He's very, very, very low. Jinx is here to back them up as well. Renekton dashes forward but does not hit anyone, so he does not get the second dash. Ults. Aatrox is here as well.
Umbrel's coming in from the river. Actually, they're deciding to back off and not make the play.
Everyone
resetting the tempo.
Yep. So, not too bad. They get a shutdown onto the Xayah here. But overall, just a big fight on both sides. He is on a ward. Aatrox going for this onto Renekton. Nautilus is here as well, but Neeko hiding in the bush. And here comes Rel as well. And I think Neeko is going to run away and leave her Renekton to die. No, she's belting in the stun, and she's going to kill Nautilus. Is she able to get away from this? The chains hit, she is stunned, and I think that's a dead Neeko. Are they going to be able to kill Renekton, the Gore Drinker? And he's able to heal enough to kill Aatrox. But Victor is here and the ult, and Renekton dashes away. Is he going to live here? I think he's going to go for the dive. No, he backs off. But meanwhile, Xayah is able to pick up that mid tower. And they are looking to dive. The stun, he connected flash Q heals with Glory Drinker and is able to kill Rel with the help of the tower, but he will die to Victor. I'm not too sure if that trade is worth. It's probably not. The Rel has died so many times already,
Yeah.
and you use your flash for it. I think that trade is definitely better for Noir. Victor is going to stay in the bot lane here. Luckily enough for him, no one is here to punish him for it because they've got nearly no wards on the bot side of the map right now.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a objective bounty might only be a 250 gold one, but we need any gold that is possible to start trying to get items onto this Jinx and onto this Victor. As going for a 40-minute game with a brawl fest and trying to go for these team fights and finding an unlucky mistake from the Zarya is the only way I can see of them getting back into this.
Yeah, and this Victor has managed to pick it up. He started the game out 0-3 against the Neeko. Very tricky if you don't respect the passive and if you get rooted up and she goes for that one-shot combo with her ult. But now that we've made it to the mid game, he's out of the lane phase. He's able to find some kills, and he's up to 2 items now. He's, you know, close to even with this Neeko now. Whereas Jinx, as you mentioned before, she has fallen behind. She is not at that second item yet, and she really needs to get going, or this game is going to end before she gets online and can carry.
The dragon, which would lead to soul point for the side of dogs here, is 10 seconds away as they're looking to set up. Pings coming out from both sides as battle lines are drawn. Renekton's walked down, but the side of dogs seem to have better control with more vision as the tier 1 turret and tier 2 turret in the mid lane is
on onto Rel, and she is already below half health. She is going to have to jump out of there. Aatrox getting engaged on a little bit here, but Sejuani's pretty tanky. I don't think you're going to be able to kill her even if you knock her up. She's below half health as well. But dogs have just moved into the river first, so they've got a little bit more control. They're going to be able to clear out these wards and decide what to do from there. Neeko going for another stun, gets the Aatrox ult out for free. The Sejuani ult, that's a pretty big ult. Noir might be able to look for an engage here. The flash forward from Rel and the ult from both supports. Big fight happening. Neeko ult knocking up the whole team. That is huge. A triple kill for Neeko. Jinx is going to have to run with her tail between her legs, picking up just 1 kill. They are trying to chase down the 2 carries for the side of Noir, but it looks like they're just going to have to be satisfied with the dragon and putting the Herald down to get it into the bottom tower.
Yeah, that's all you can say there is that's a couple almost vital kills onto Jinx. As Jinx is 4-1, definitely not playing poorly this game. It's just not making the truest advantage of the lead they had in that early game, going 2-0 so early. But it's definitely a worse fight from the side of Noir here, as now the side of dogs are on soul points. And it's looking nervous for Noir in this one.
Yeah, and I feel like the dogs have made, their mid laner has made a lot of plays just with that Neeko passive, some very good use of the passive, disguising herself as her teammates, a heavy frontliner, walking into the brush, pretending to zone someone off, but in actuality, she's fishing for that route into the queue, and she managed to get that off a couple times and deal a large amount of damage before the fight. And then in the fight, managing to get that huge impactful ult on 3 people, getting that triple kill. And again, we're seeing her go in with her passive, and there's nothing the Jinx can do. She just dies. And now they turn their attention towards the Rel. She's going to get Braum stunned, rooted, stunned again by the Sejuani, and I think dogs have got a clear path to the Baron here. Nautilus not even looking to contest. Just recalling.
They don't really have the ability to or the damage here to even try to contest this dragon. I would think they tried to step up without their Rel and without their Jinx. They'll just get engaged on, and they don't really have the peel or the damage to fight back on the side of dogs there. So that's an easy Baron, and they're going to start hammering away on these tier 2 turrets in these side lanes.
And dogs are starting to just run away with it. They've got all the time in the world. They've got all the money in the world. They can decide where to go from here. Personally, my opinion, I'm a little bit biased. I'm a top laner. I like the split push, but I would like to see some focus towards these tier 2s in the top and the bottom lane. I think what you do is you have your team push in mid lane, you have one person push in a side lane, and then you collapse to the side lane. Here we go, the Sejuani ult, Renekton flash forward, and the Aatrox is ulting. Everyone's ulting, but here comes Xayah, and Aatrox is going to flash to have to live here. Is Viktor going to get away? He's got no flash, but he does get away. He's putting some good damage down. Xayah ulting late, and that was almost very bad for the dogs as they overchase a little bit and get punished pretty heavily.
Yeah, although the Aatrox might be falling quite far behind after you get some of these tankier stats, and you
Hold on. The mid laner pushing in the bot lane, and nobody has responded to this. She's going to get a lot of tower damage down now.
Yeah, that's going to be the tier 3 in the bot lane, just tier 2 and tier 3 taken, so making not precisely what you said with the pushing in the mid lane, but certainly Coach Pizza is taking advantage of the opportunity they saw to start hammering away on those side lanes and take the turrets with these Baroned up minions. And also with the Neeko passive and the AP, you start to shred through these turrets really, really fast.
Yeah, just a very smart play, seeing that, hey, there's a lot of action in the top lane, but my team is okay. I'm just going to stay bot lane. Well, she is getting a little bit caught out here, though. She is up way too far with no information on the enemy team, and they're going to try and run her down now. The stopwatch, Braum ult to delay the inevitable. She is going to ult, but not get it off before she dies. And Noir are looking for more. Aatrox Q lands on 2. Sejuani ult to slow the progress, but Jinx is quite low off that Featherstorm. Oh my goodness, Renekton comes out of nowhere. Xayah ulting. The Viktor ult dealing a lot of damage, and Xayah has gone down. Noir could turn this around. A little bit of shuffling. It's a 3-on-3. And I think both sides are going to back off here. But not too bad for the side of Noir. Anything even at this point is going to help get the Baron away and stall the game out for your carries to get more items and try to scale up.
The problem is that Noir were chunked a lot lower than Dogs were, and so the 3 people that Noir up have the ability to take this soul. Aatrox is trying to see if
they're not doing it very fast.
No.
Their 2 carries are not there. Aatrox and Viktor both here. They've both got a lot of AoE damage to work with the Jinx Rocket, but I think Sejuani is going to get this smite off, so it won't even matter. Soul is gone, but Neeko pulls up, ults, says what's up, and that's 1, and that's going to be 2 as soon as the Aatrox falls, and that's 3, and I think they're going to go mid lane and try and get this inhibitor now. So Soul Point and 3 kills. It was looking okay for Noir, but they just don't have enough. And they are looking for another kill onto the Nautilus here. Stunned 1, stunned twice, stunned 3 times. He's going to ult. He's still alive. He hooks out. Jinx putting out some damage, but just not enough. Jinx is still on only 1 item. She can't kill anyone. And dogs are just marching forward.
She's trying to look towards building this Gale Force. It's been built now, but the execution is cooling, and the Berserker Greaves have really delayed that item to the 27-minute mark, which is quite absurd to be picking up your second item as an AD carry. But yeah, the problem in that fight was there for Noir was, although they went 3 for 3 and it looked like a decent trade, trying to claim some bounties from the Neeko, they happened to be chunked out so low that they had to recall, and they just couldn't contest a dragon. And as they tried, as you would, to try and contest this soul, as
Aatrox getting tower dove here. He's going to be stunned again, and he's very low, and he's doing his best, but he is going to go down. Oh, the Xayah ult to dodge Jinx ult, a very good ult, but Jinx
she's getting excited.
Finally gets a kill, but Neeko steps forward, gets the ult, Jinx flashes away, so she will live. Neeko with the stopwatch, but she does kill the Jinx. Jinx walks back in, greedy for the kill, and gets punished for it. She still has her Gale Force up. That's a big misplay.
Yeah, it's quite possibly That play was looking a little too overzealous from the side of dogs, but they managed to scrap something out. The damage coming out from this Nico on 3.5 items right now is insane. And the Jinx and the Aatrox just happened to fall.
This Nico is just doing so much. It's just doing. It's such a good pick right now too,
Yeah.
because she's got the front line. The Sejuani and the Braum both help her lock someone down, and she can just freely output damage. And when someone is locked down, her Q will proc on them over and over again. Every time that it hits someone, it'll proc again up to 3 times. So
Yeah.
that Q, once someone's stunned, it's just going to deal so much damage, and there's nothing that you can do about it because the Braum and Sejuani have so much lockdown.
Yeah, and it's Renekton's trying to slice and dice away as the Baron's been started from this side of dogs here.
We will hit the blast plant, but that will alert them to the fact that Baron is being done here. Viktor and Aatrox, the mid and top, are not here. Rel flashes forward in the Jinx rocket. I don't know what this Rel is doing. She's just gonna die. And now they're gonna try and run down the rest of Noir's team. Jinx, the Gale Force the heal, but she is just not fast enough to get away. And again, here is the lockdown. The Sejuani, Braum, and Nico combo is gigantic. And Nautilus will fall. They are going to look to close this game out very soon.
And they've got super minions pushing in bot. They're going to be able to claim this mid in hemp. And with 13 to 30 second respawn timers on the side of Noir there, it's maybe looking
and
like...
there's the root and the knockup, and Nico one-shots Viktor and uses the Zhonya's to avoid taking any tower damage. Her frontliners come in, tank for the carries, Aatrox falls, Rel going in and dying once again. I'm not very happy with that.
Well,
But Dogs have taken game 1 at 30 minutes.
Yeah, it was a dominating performance from Dogs from well, maybe not minute 1, maybe more like minute 3 after that little mishap in the bot lane from the Jinx and Rel there. But it was a very successful game from the side of Dogs. They played it well from start to finish.
Yeah. It seemed like they got themselves a little bit of a lead early, and then they just kept building and building and building on that lead. And part of that was, I think, the dragon, that first dragon, really showcased that they knew what they were doing. They got a single kill on a support, and they said, "We've got the numbers, we've got the tempo. Let's just take the dragon." And it's plays like that, just nice, consistent plays, taking your lead and making it bigger. That's what makes teams win consistently, is making those smart decisions.
Yeah, and that really did feel a little bit sloppy from Noir for me. They had the all the bot pressure with the 2-0 Jinx. They had the waves pushing in, and instead of trying to use that pressure to convert it to the Drake to get the nice stable climbing success, they decided to try flip the fights in the mid lane, flip the fights in the top lane, and they ended up losing that lead as it evened out, and then they used the pressure that they got from killing the Rel over and over again to take that dragon and snowball their lead in the bot lane, and then they managed to move it up to the top lane as well. It was a very calm, very successful. Well, I say calm, it was still 35 kills at 30 minutes for the side of Dogs, but it was very successfully and very smartly played out from them.
Yeah, and they're top side, but especially that Nico pick. That guy, he looked like he knew what he was doing with the Nico. Okay,
Yeah.
I want to say that he was using his passive really smartly. He was getting good ults. He built Proto Belt, which a lot of people know about the Proto Belt into the ult nowadays, but the might as well mention it. But he knew what he was doing, and the thing is, he used it really well in the context of his comp too.
Yeah.
Like I was talking about, the stun into the Q, they just had way too much CC, really strong front line. And I think Noir have got a few things to work on going into this game too. Not just the draft, but I feel like their communication, their shot calling could be a little bit better.
Yeah.
At some point, you've got to realize you've got a 2-0 Jinx, and everyone else is starting to fall off. You've
Yeah.
got to play for your hyper carry, right?
Yeah, and it seemed like the Rel kind of had a mind of their own rather than tying into that 2v2 synergy, which the Zara and the Braum and the Nico and the Sejuani really seemed to have as they're moving around the map in units. The Rel was just trying to go for every fight possible, and the Jinx wasn't in situations or wanting to follow up on those fights. So, yeah.
Yeah, could be a miscommunication. It could be maybe a little bit uncomfortable with the
Hmm.
champion. I'm pretty sure their support heavily favors those enchanters. So what I would like to see next game is get him on a champion that he's comfortable with. Don't get him on
Yeah.
an engaged champion. Don't put him on, one of these tanks. Get him on one of these enchanters that he's familiar with, that he's comfortable with,
Hmm.
and that way you won't have so many mistakes that lead into a snowballing loss for your team. That's what I want to see going into this game too. I'm not too sure if too much more of the draft needs to be looked at. Maybe they could look at banning out a couple of these strong picks um, in game two. But
Hmm.
other than that, the thing I most want to see is get this man on a champion that he is comfortable with.
Yeah. On the yeah, maybe they are scared of the UV pick after nerf. She has been tagged pretty hard, but it's definitely comfort um, for this support on the side of Noah. So we'll see what they can do. They did have a rail game prior as well in their last series where they also lost. I believe they went 0-10 or something. It was not the best showing from them, but
Yeah,
maybe
I
Rel's
just
just not their champion.
yeah, I just if somebody, if they're uncomfortable on a champion, get them on a champion they're comfortable with,
Yeah.
It's not the pro leagues. It's,
Yeah, you
it's
don't
just
always have
it's
to
just
be playing
amateur,
the meta.
if someone's a one trick, try and get them their one trick. If
Hmm.
somebody has a favored champion pool,
Yeah.
stick to that champion pool. I'll say I'll scream it from the rooftops. I'm a one trick myself in
Hmm.
solo queue. I play the only character that I can play. Every other character that I play, it looks bad, right?
Yeah.
So you don't always have to go for what's super strong in the meta, because if you underperform with it, it doesn't matter anyway. You want to
Hmm.
get on a character that you are comfortable with, that you are going to perform with, that you know the right place to make, the matchups,
Yep.
and you can do what you need to do on command.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's I'll be excited to see what get bans though from the sides of Noah. I believe did they get their bans back? I'm actually not too sure about that one. But it'll be exciting to see what they change up because they did not look the brightest in this first game. So see if they get a
No, I think Noir
fashion
is
fight.
is gonna have two less bans for the entire
Oh,
series. I do,
sorry. Yep.
yeah, a little unfortunate. Um, we are gonna get into the draft pretty soon here. Do you have any other thoughts about that game one? What do you think? Did you see something from the side of Noir that you expect them to play off of coming into this game to try and bounce back and get that win?
Well, when they did have that aggression, they did get that lead. The Chinks had flashes of brilliance, especially on that top side where they started to get excited, and it's clear that they feel comfortable and confident on some of these more hyper carry champs. So if they could just lean more into the hyper carry aspect of Admiral Levi, and also if we don't get absolutely bodied in the top lane on this Aatrox, and they're allowed to thrive and really have that 1v1. I think those are the two avenues that they can get back into those games from.
Yeah. I was hopeful to see something like a Lulu paired with the
Hmm.
Jinx. I feel like Jinx Lulu is a
But I
good
believe the
combo. The
Lulu
enchanter.
was banned away there.
Was it banned?
Yeah, it
It
was the
might have been
Milio
banned. I
Lulu.
know it was Melia and Lulu. Okay,
Yeah. Mhm.
that's on me then. That's my bad. But we are heading into the draft here. We are getting started, And this time we see Noir is going to have the blue side,
Mm.
Dogs are going to have the red side. Once again, Noir was a little bit late, so they will be missing out on 2 bans. So first ban will be for the side of Dogs on the red side.
Yeah, I'll be curious if dogs think there is anything that they want to take away that they saw in that game. But I'd be likely to see the Milio and the Lulu again being banned here. Noah is. I'm not sure if they should. I feel like the Aatrox can do well into this Kennen pick better than it can into the Renekton. So maybe they want to leave the Kennen up here and try use their 1 ban on something else. It was the Sejuani they're deciding to ban. It definitely did have an impact from the side of Dogs. But I'm not sure if the Sejuani was the more impactful side of this Sejuani and Renekton combo, but
Yep, the Sejuani is a good jungler, and it was
Mhm.
the first pick for them last time. But we do
and
see some similar bans coming out from
Mhm.
Dogs again.
Yep.
They must be feeling pretty good after that win. It was a pretty dominant win. So only thing they're going to change is this time around they're going to ban
Yeah.
Victor, sort of twisting the knife in again because I feel
Oh,
like Victor
Nico taken
didn't really
away.
have that much of an impact in game 1.
No, I don't believe it did. And I would love to see the Lulu picked in 2-3 here as Maokai gets picked. Noah have limited the jungle options they can pick with this Sejuani and the Zac taken away. So they're snapping up the Maokai, which is another really high tier jungler for these engaging, supportive styles of jungler. Or ironically, dog junglers, as a lot of people call them, and Talia is picked.
And I do think Maokai could flex either top or jungle. Not sure which
Mhm.
it is in this meta. It'll most likely, I think it's going to be a Nico versus a Talia matchup in the mid
Yeah.
lane. No R's mid laner, pretty much just saying, hey, you look pretty good doing that, but anything you can do, I can do better. And we are going to see the Jarvan picked up for
Mhm.
Noir, a very fast-paced jungler. He can make a lot of early plays.
Yeah.
He's also pretty good in team fights in the mid
Mhm.
game with ult, locking down the target. So dogs are going to have to be a little bit careful with their marksman pick. But now that they know Jarvan is on the board, they can pick something mobile to deal with him.
Yeah. They can. There's a lot of definitely strong champions like the Lucian just got buffed on this patch, and MF getting picked up, which is not one we see all the time in this meta, but
Did Lucian
she's
really get
definitely
buffed?
got him.
Did
Yeah,
Lucian really get?
he
I can't.
well, it was an adjustment. They made it so that he
Oh, it's he works with CT, right?
he works with CC. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Okay. I was worried for a second. I was like, "There's no way he's getting buffed right now."
No,
He's
he's not.
he's
He's not getting buffed. It's definitely
it's
definitely
like a
helping to
quality of
him.
life change.
Yeah. So he's not
Yeah.
forced into one matchup.
I
The
feel like
roll band away
he's
here.
a pretty good pick right now.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And if I was Noah here, I would like to see one of these 80 carries taken away, which has a lot of the mobility. Maybe it's even the Zaya band away here is, although she's not the best at being mobile, she can definitely dodge a lot of this front up engage that comes from the Nika and the Jarvan. So
And since we have Renekton picked for dogs, I do
Mhm.
think that Maokai is going to be in the jungle. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see how these two junglers interact, whether we see any counter gankings come out. I feel like Maokai can go for a counter gank pretty well against Jarvan
Mhm.
if he's able to track the Jarvan and know
Yeah.
when he's ganking. Which that's the hard part.
Yeah. Noah did show some early ganking prowess and some creative pathing, going for one of the 3 camp clears to get an early gank and blow the flash into bot lane, which originally garnered the lead, as Fizaya is banned away here.
And Dog smartly taking away that
Mhm.
Lulu from Noir's support.
Yeah.
They're clamping down a little bit on the enchanter support. I feel like maybe we should have gotten him one of these enchanters earlier, but now with no Lulu, the options are getting a little bit limited here. The Rel ban, personally, I think that's a little bit BM
I also picked
because
up.
the Rel
Yeah, certainly.
was not amazing last game. I think that's BM, but it's
Well,
totally allowed. You know.
maybe dogs are also they also could be thinking that Rel is, although they didn't look the best, maybe one of their comforts still, and it's something they put a lot of time into trying to learn in the past few weeks. So now they have very little supportive options to pick aside from the Yumi, maybe trying to force him into that Alistar. It's
Yeah,
going
well,
to be picked up.
let's be honest here too, though. I think Rel fits into this comp a lot better than it did the last
Yeah,
comp with the
yeah.
Misfortune ult and layering on top of the Jarvan ult.
Mhm.
I feel like Rel would be a much better pick here. So you know, props. You know, it's a smart ban actually,
Yeah,
because I don't think the Rel goes that well with the Jinx, but with this
no.
comp, I feel like it could definitely
Well,
find its
Garen.
place. Garen picked up for no R. Wow, that's that's an interesting pick. I have seen there's one Moose Hater plays him really well. Is he an
Mhm.
academy player? I don't keep up with pro leagues too much, but I've seen Garen picked, and if you know what to do with him, you
Yeah,
can make him work.
yeah, and certainly from over the pond as well, we have Adam playing for BDS, which is a Garen enthusiast, and I think he's also works. He can work quite well into Renekton with the silence. Renekton kind of sits there stunned, not really doing much, as the Poppy is picked last, going into support or
I'm
jungle
now I'm a little confused because they've got like three flex picks here. I can't really figure out what's going on here. It could be a Poppy support.
or
I don't feel like that would be very good here, though. Maybe it's a Talia support and a Poppy
actually
jungle.
is some Poppy support not good into Alistar because of her W. She just fully stops the Alistar engage, doesn't she? I think she
Well,
actually might be a bit of a niche counter.
theoretically, you can stop his headbutt if you're really fast with the trigger, but you have to react pretty quickly, or else he just gets his headbutt off, and then you're standing there. You know, personally, you know what's really funny? I like to play Poppy support. Well, I don't play it anymore, but what's really funny is Poppy support into Thresh because not many people know this, I think, but you can actually block his lantern with her W. It's
Oh
hilarious.
yeah, but when you just stand on top of the lantern and you activate your W, and then they if they try to click on it, they'll just get stopped and probably die.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so funny. You block Thresh's Q when he
Hmm.
reactivates it.
Yeah.
So not a bad pick in the Thresh, but I don't know if it's going support though.
Hmm.
It could be going jungle. Maybe they do something weird where it's like Poppy top, Renekton mid, Talia support, Maokai jungle. I can't really tell.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of flex on the side. It's definitely more clear and cut for the side of Noah here. But one thing I would worry about on the side of dogs, which is funny to say, is probably Merc Tread's value here for the Nico is something I'd worry about. If you're trying to go under the same kind of pressure you did in the mid lane again for the side of dogs, it would be incredibly difficult to lock down the Nico here if she just builds the Merc Treads. She'll be incredibly tanky to the double magic damage, and she'll be resistant to the CC with the extra tenacity you get. So that's something I would worry about from the sides of Noah. Tenacity is a really important stat here on the side of Noah, sorry.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see who goes where
Uh-huh.
when we load into the game in a little bit. But I think which team do I give this to? Dogs definitely have some nice mixed damage.
Hmm.
The Kaisa, I think their 80 carry that is his preferred marksman, so he
Yeah.
got the marksman that he wants to play. So that's very nice for him. Renekton can deal quite a bit of damage if he builds for that. He could also go for a heavy frontline. They've got a lot of frontliners to peel this Kaisa.
Hmm.
And Talia's even got self peel, and she can make really nice roams with their ult. So they've got a lot of tools to work with in this game. But I feel like No R, they've got a nice front line, but if they can't get their Misfortune and their Nico ahead, they might have a little bit of a difficult time here.
Yeah, it could be difficult. Interestingly, I'm just doing a bit of research on OP.GG. I believe that in all games, the AD carry from the side of Noah here has only had one game on Misfortune, so it's maybe just a bit of a spur of the moment. They believe it's good into what was presented, but actually, I believe Misfortune here, although it does go along well with the Nico and the Jarvan, may be a bit misplaced into the enemy comp.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not too sure about the Misfortune pick either. I feel like it's not super strong in this meta,
Mhm.
but I could be mistaken. I feel like it's a kind of a difficult champion to pilot unless you really know what you're doing. I mean,
Yeah.
you can build lethality or AP or whatever and have really powerful ults, but other than that, um, it's not a champion I would recommend for someone who's unfamiliar with it
Yeah.
to play it in like a competitive sort of
Mhm.
game. But we're gonna have to see if they're able to communicate really well and layer some CC and Misfortune ults on top of each other into this
Yeah.
game. What's your opinion? What do you think? Who do you think's gonna win this game?
I'd probably have to hand this one to Dogs. I think they're going to take this game too as well, unless I think the avenues are if um Garen here can get a lead and put this Renekton down, then Renekton will be useless and Garen can show up to fights. We have seen Garen just take over and run over games. I'm sure we all have in solo queue and in pro play as of more recently. So the Garen is a very interesting pick. And if they do manage to get this CC layering off on top of the MF ult, then they can win team fights incredibly easily. But if that's only if all the perfect situations happen, I think the side of Dogs have a much more easy to pilot comp, depending on where some of these picks go.
I
They just press their Maokai R, they disengage some people with Poppy, and they just win the team fights. It's how it seems to me.
Yeah, and I think Garen could even potentially go for a Hullbreaker build and try and split the
Hmm.
map up. But I feel that No R's only way to win this game is if their mid laner plays Nico as well as Dog's mid laner
Yeah.
could play Nico last game. I feel like if he gets going and he carries as hard as Dog's mid laner did last game,
Mm.
then they have a decent shot at winning. But we're
Yeah.
gonna just have to see as we get into this game too. Don't go anywhere. We're going to do a short break for spectator delay, and we'll be right back. right, welcome back, everybody. This time we've got No R on the blue side of the map,
There's two
Dogs
Garens
on the red side of the map. Yeah, there's two Garens. What? I'm just kidding. One of them is Nico, of course. A little bit of poking and prodding here. Not exactly a 5-point from either team, but doesn't seem like anyone's getting caught out. So no big deal.
No. I think it's going to be a red side start again from Jarvan, I believe. I believe both of them are pathing to opposite sides again. Well, no, it actually looks like Maokai's heading to the blue buff, which means they're both going to be pathing up to this top lane, which is the lane we did say to watch out for.
Yeah, and it has turned out that the Poppy is a support.
Mhm.
That was my first guess, so nice to see that my intuition is right. I would have liked to see Dogs go for a couple of wards somewhere in the enemy jungle, just walk together, get a ward here or there, maybe on the Raptor camp or something like that, just to track the Jarvan, make it easier to avoid his early ganks or for Maokai to counter jungle. There's not really any CC on the side of No R to prevent them from doing that, other than Alistar getting a knockup if they walk into a bush, which they don't have to do. So a little bit of a missed opportunity there.
Yeah, and it's Jarvan again going for this incredibly click red blue Gromp player, trying to get a level 3 as quick as possible, then heading into the top lane to try and make an impact with the gank.
Yeah, nothing too exciting out of either team's runes, pretty standard stuff. Alistar opting for Glacial Augment, Poppy going for the Aftershock. Alistar gets a headbutt, but not the knockup, and he's going to take a big chunk of damage from that. And again, we just see a support that is not comfortable on these type of champions. You have to put this guy on an enchanter. I don't know why they don't like doing this. Garen's getting a really big trade on this Renekton though, and Jarvan is here to capitalize on his low health bar. He just flashes for the slow, nearly kills Renekton, but Renekton is just able to flash in time. Good reaction by him to not die to the Jarvan, but unfortunately he pushed the wave up pretty far. Both supports flashing. Kai'Sa flashes forward, gets the first blood onto the Alistar. Is Poppy going to follow the heal? And Poppy is very low, but Miss Fortune flashes forward. She's trying to ghost out and get away before Kai'Sa can kill her. One more auto, but she just doesn't quite have it. And a 1-for-1 in the bottom lane for both marksmen.
Yeah.
A lot of trading in this top lane though, too.
The wave is starting.
They're already looking to punish this Renekton for having no flash, just walking straight to top lane. Easy knockup. There's a silence. Does he have anything? There's a heal. He's trying to dash away. Nico finds a kill on the Maokai randomly in the river. Where did that come from? Jarvan gets the knockup. Very close, but manages to secure that kill on the Renekton. And No R this time have gotten a couple of early kills for themselves.
Yeah, it's certainly looking a little bit brighter from the side of Noah at the start of this second game. And although it's looked kind of bleak from Proxy here on this Alistar, the difference in bot lane actually isn't that tremendous, with both on a kill and around 30 CS here, so they're both rather equal in terms of the AD carries.
Yeah, they did manage to go 1-for-1, but it was very, very close to being either a 1-for-2 or just a straight up free kill for the side of Dogs. So I think Dogs right now, they have got to put their focus into putting their AD carry ahead. I think Dogs, I think No R's ADC is holding up their support right now. So I think if you put pressure on that bot lane and make them falter, you can really tear this game open in that lane.
Yeah, it's definitely a contentious part. It's been the most bloody part of the map as well. So it's going to be really the first one to break. Neither of them really cracked under the first bit of pressure, but the second bit is Jarvan, after clearing Crocs, is looking to head into this bot lane, but it's all warded up. I don't think anything's going to come of it. I know it's just going to take a recall as trading happens in the top lane.
Yep, there you go. More just beating each other up. Garen's going to be able to regen off of his passive if he doesn't trade for a little while. Renekton's got his healing off his Q, so both of them are going to be able to stay in lane for quite a while.
Yeah, these manless top laners, they can just stay out there and fight until they need to base and buy items or die, really.
Fight, fight, fight. And I didn't see what happened earlier, but Nico did manage to pick up a random kill on the Maokai. I'm not too sure if... I'm pretty sure Maokai was headed top to counter the Jarvan gank early, but ran into Nico there, and I didn't see what happened, but Nico was able to punish Maokai just for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. They are looking for a dive in the bot lane, though. Nico. That's a Nico passive. Alistar, huge knock-up from him, and the Nico ult finds both rooted up. Miss Fortune tanking the tower, ghosts out, but Talia is finally here to counter, and that's another kill for the side of dogs. The dive going wrong. Kai'Sa is able to live on very low health. Talia smartly moving down, able to punish that. And Nico looks like she may be able to walk out here, but Talia's passive, giving her that move speed, gets rooted up though, and Nico will be able to live.
Yeah, and this started with a moment of brilliance coming out from Tarkdown, and Nico's just ripping in the top lane.
Yeah, as much as we are ragging on the support for his Alistar, that was a really, really nice flash knockup, getting both of the enemy bot laners there into the Nico ult, and they just barely don't finish it. He's roaming top now, but Renekton is level 6. I don't think this is going to work. I'm pretty sure he just missed his knockup, but he walks out and everyone lives. So, a really nice play there. I thought they were not going to be able to kill him, but they managed to pull it off. But in return, losing the dragon.
It's a lot of true damage coming out on top of the... yeah, just on top of the combo coming in from the Jarvan there, which just allowed that to happen. Can really cut through.
Well, this could be a dive. Poppy's looking for the stun onto the wall, but decides against it.
Yeah, just enough.
Kai'Sa eats that big Miss Fortune Q. She's very low now.
Miss Fortune, especially when you start getting this Dirk, she can start dealing a lot of damage with these Qs in these early laning phases. It's something you need to be really careful of when you're laning into her. It shouldn't come to anything here, but you need to be really careful about your health bar as a resource in these AD carry matchups into this Miss Fortune. Could really take you by surprise how much damage she has so early on from one ability.
Yeah, the ADC for dogs just gonna take a reset there. Might miss a few minions for eating that one Miss Fortune Q. Really unfortunate there. But I want to highlight in the mid lane, both these mid laners have really good wave clear. Unlike the early Victor, you kind of have to wait to scale a little bit until your laser empowers itself.
100 sacks.
But right now, both mid laners have really good wave clear. They're both playing pretty well, both trying to make plays on different sides of the maps. Oh, and here's a play right now. The Maokai ult. Miss Fortune's just got nothing, piled on by 4 people, and she is just dead instantly.
I honestly think no cleanse coming out from the Miss Fortune this game is really it's really quite a strange decision to go for that ghost instead to try to scale later into the team fights, but I feel like the cleanse into the Poppy and the Talia and the Maokai was almost necessary for Miss Fortune this game, and
yeah, but in return for that kill in the bottom lane, no R going for a play top. He has really got to work on the pulverize combo. Nico ult in the mid lane, fighting with Talia, but there is a dive going down. Just take the tower first, and now turn your attention onto the Renekton. Flashes the ult, so Garen has to flash ult instead. And that is a dead Renekton. They're trying to get this Herald to crash into the tier 2 now. So, No R very smartly making plays in the top lane and saying, look, our ADC may be dead, but we are going to punish you for doing that.
Yeah, it is a bit nervous, however, that this Alistar has failed the headbutt pulverize combo 3 or 4 times.
Oh, and they're looking for a dive. This is going to be the
dive.
wall slam into the stun, the knock up. Misfortune is just dead once again, and Poppy's going to be able to run out of the tower, taking pretty much no damage from Misfortune. She is able to just tank that tower until she can walk out.
Yeah, this the base damage that can come out from Poppy can be quite absurd, which is what can lead some people, including yourself, to play her support. She's incredibly tanky. She does a lot of damage in these early levels, and they can just execute dives like that. As Youmuu's has been picked up for the MF, which will or could change the dynamic.
Neeko
of
might be able to get close enough for an ult here. Does she have it? She's just going to keep autoing, and that's going to be the flash from Talia.
The ult was used in a trade as they were making that, as the side of Noah were making that attempt to kill the Renekton, which was ultimately
But they're
successful.
looking for a play mid. This Neeko is under tower, unsuspecting of the Maokai behind her. She gets the ult off and manages to kill Talia. Talia steps up too far and gets punished for it. Neeko flashes away, but the flash Q from Maokai, and they're going to trade a 1-for-1, which is not what you want to see in a 2v1 gank there.
Can I just say that both these Neeko players we've had in both the games, Coach Pizza and Tark, have both been quite incredible in their Neekoing abilities. I've been quite impressed by both the mid laners coming up from Noah and Dog on this Neeko pick here. So hope there's more to come later in this game from that.
Yeah, I mean, Neeko's a strong champion this patch, but I don't feel that she's overtuned or broken or anything unless you're really messing with them with your passive and they're not paying attention. But both of these mid laners just making it look like an absolute Z tier pick right now.
Yeah. Creature is just harassing a bit on the rotation from Jarvan here, as they're setting up for this second Drake, the Infernal Drake, coming in 10 seconds.
A little bit of posturing from both teams. Yeah, they're going to fight for vision here in a second. Oh, Garen's walking down. He might just walk to Dragon. He said, I've pushed the wave in. I don't have teleport, so I better run down there.
Yeah, I think Garen knows that the teleport is unleashed from Renekton, so Renekton can join the fight at any time if one happens to start.
Oh, and here's the engage. The Jarvan goes in. Misfortune ult, the Neeko ult knocks up everyone. Talia is dead, but Kai'Sa flashes away but gets rooted by Neeko. Ults back in to get the Jarvan kill, but dies herself. And now dogs are running away. The Garen has arrived, and that's a kill onto the Poppy. Is that going to be a kill on the Maokai? There he goes with his ult. And Noah takes the fight and is going to be taking this dragon.
Yeah, that was really well played from the side of Noah there, as they managed to use that again to zone away the Kai'Sa from the fight, and as she ulted in, it was already a little too late, and with no Kai'Sa and the Talia zoned away from the fight as well, it was very difficult for them to have any impact. So that was some great play from the Neeko, as well as the Garen, adding a load of damage with that Ghost in that fight. Managed to just run around and have a bit of fun as
in with the ult. I don't think she's going to get anything here, though. Manages to dodge the root, but she's just not going to be able to kill. Garen going in on this Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa has stepped way too far forward and is nearly dead. She's going to have to run away. Now Garen's going to have to run away because Renekton is DPSing. Jarvan going in, but gets stunned by the Poppy. He's not close enough to get to the Kai'Sa, and he will go down. And Kai'Sa manages to kite away from both of these threats and live to see another day.
Yeah, when that initial damage came out from the side of Noah on that Garen, it was looking nervous for Kai'Sa. She thought she had a play originally to one-shot the Garen with Renekton there, but it turned out Garen was able to almost one-shot her, but it was amazing kiting to live. And then the curse of their team name, neither the Garen or the Jarvan had an ultimate to try finish those kills off. So really well played from the side of Dogs to try start to claw something back here.
The turret's gone now. Where is that turret? Is that the bot lane turret? I think Garen's just taking bot lane turret. Yep. He's pushing up, but he is unaware of the Poppy lurking in the brush behind him. They're trying to collapse, but he's just going to escape through the jungle. Oh, and there's some action in the mid lane. Maokai looking for it, but gets headbutted away. Misfortune activating the Ghost Blade, able to kite. There's the ult, there's the Garen silence, and Talia is gonna die. And now they are looking to take this mid lane turret, I think. Or no, they're going for
they're
Herald.
looking towards the mid turret here. Garen's gonna base off, and really with Talia not up, there should be little contention. Garen's gonna stay, help pushing this mid wave. And maybe they do want something here.
Yeah, it's a 4v5 right now, but Talia will be respawning in just a few seconds with her teleport. She can make her way through this fight very quickly, so I feel that Noir has got to look for an engage, and there it is, the Nico knockup and the root, and that's a dead Poppy support. The teleport coming out, but already one of the teammates is dead. Renekton limping away with his ult, and that is another one for Nico. Very low now, flashed in by Renekton, flash Q, and Nico is shut down. Jarvan goes in onto the backline. Kai'Sa getting autoed again, but Jarvan gets blown up by Talia.
Yeah, Jarvan looking for just a bit too much, it felt, in that fight, but it's still an amazing play from Nico there. But after
It was a 2 for 2.
Oh yeah, after all happened, it was a 2 for 2, which is unfortunate for the side of Noir there. It really felt like they had a hand on that
pushing this tower. Talia flashes away because Garen goes in. Alistar a little too deep, not quite tanky enough to live through all that. I feel like he did not have to headbutt there. You know, just a little bit uncomfortable with the pick. But honestly, the Alistar this game has been making some really good plays. He has been making some good roams. He's had some good impact in the game. So props to him. But I feel that you need to work on your mechanics a little bit. You know,
I feel
not hating. I'm just saying.
I feel like they've been they've been playing very smart and very successfully, but it is kind of inexcusable to pick the Alistar and not be able to execute the headbutt pulverize combo consistently. But what they've been doing around the map outside of their champion pick has been it's been quite nice to see, and it's a big refresher from the first game where they just seem to engage and die.
Yeah, Noir definitely in the lead here. They've got the Herald, they've got the Infernal. While they don't have a Dragon advantage, that Infernal I do think is a little bit better than the Hex deck. That's just my opinion. But Garen in the top lane, like I mentioned before, he has gone for this Hullbreaker, so he just does not care if there's a couple of beefy guys here. You've got to get a carry up there if you're going to want to kill him. He is unkilled right now, actually. He's 5-0.
Yeah, 5-0 on this Garen pick. He is a monster. That Hullbreaker item built, as you said, as they start to set up for this Drake. There's still the teleport on the Renekton for this one, and Garen will have to start running down if they want to contribute. It's going to be another fight here.
I'm not sure if Garen will run down. I think he might just let Renekton teleport, say, team, just don't die. I'm going to push for this tower here. There's the teleport coming out. The Nico ult finds 2. Alistar going for Maokai here, but Jarvan going onto the Poppy support with his ult, and he's not able to kill her. A little bit of a mistake, I think, a wrong target selection for sure, because Poppy just stuns Jarvan against his own ult, and he's dead now and cannot contest this dragon. But Garen in the top lane, not even bothering to run down. Again, he's got the Hullbreaker. He is getting massive pressure in the side lane. He is going to take 2 towers while Dogs take that dragon.
Yeah, it's just reaching for a little too much there from the Jarvan again, but it was a good distraction, and it's not the same situation where this third Drake would lead to soul points, so they've still got a little bit of a buffer time until they have to fight for that soul. And they did get 2 turrets in the top lane, so it's hard to say who was coming out the victor of that altercation, but positives to both sides there.
Yeah, but definitely a miscommunication or something missed there on the side of Noir. You've got the Alistar comboing one person, the Jarvan jumps in to hit another person, and Poppy is low health, but it's just a Poppy, and she's a tanky support. The Jarvan with just the Hydra is not going to be able to kill her. You need some more firepower there, and his team is just not close enough to help him. So you can't be diving in that far just for a support that's going to stun you instantly. It's just not the right choice.
No, it was bad target selection from the Jarvan there, going into deep into 3 people, getting stunned up, and the funny thing here as well is the Poppy is a bit of a funny counter to the Jarvan, as when he puts his cage down, Poppy can just stun into the side of his cage, which is, I believe, what happened in that situation. So just unfortunate engage from the Jarvan as
oh my god, Garen flashed in, not quite enough to kill the Kai'Sa, but gets the heal and the ult, and they're gonna probably be able to take this tower now just because Kai'Sa is so low. Jarvan going in, interrupting the Renekton, keeping him away. Alistar headbutt. Miss Fortune and Nico layer their ults down in the middle. They get a couple kills, but dogs are still fighting. No, not they're fighting, but they're dying. And Noir gets 4 kills there, and now they're just gonna keep pushing.
Yeah, Noah did kind of get this the dream combo off in the mid lane with the Nico ult on top of the MF ult to cut down the Taliyah and the Renekton there, I believe, and Maokai falling as he was trying to peel for his carries there in that fight.
And really smart by Noir. Jarvan and Alistar running interference on half the team, while Nico and Miss Fortune layer their ults on the other half. And that is really good team synergy. That's a lot better from the last fight near Dragon. And they are going to be able to pick up this Baron now. On the side of dogs, they just should not be fighting that because their ADC just got put down to low health and had to reset. But now Noir getting caught out a little bit after the Baron. Alistar will die. Garen ghosting away. And that is going to be a death for Alistar, but the rest of his team gets away with Baron.
Just on the back end of that fight, that was quite a nice Taliyah out there to keep Garen in the pit, who's the one real threat that can get on top of them and kill them, which led to the pick on the Alistar. But this Baron should lead to the bots tier 2 falling, and that'll be all tier 2s falling, and that will really allow for control over this game for Noir compared to Dogs, who still have two tier 1s open in the side lanes. They are really struggling to move around this map.
And, Noir's top laner right now, still unkilled. With that Baron buff and that Hullbreaker, he is going to be a menace. You have got to pile on top of him and get that shutdown somehow, or he is going to end the game by himself. He is level 15 right now. Everyone else is level 13 and 12.
Yeah, and also it's the another thing to note is this MF with the Collector and the Yoma's Ghostblade gets access to so much lethality on just these 2 items. So there's more cool in this top
lane. Here they go. They're looking for the pile now. Renekton ulting, but Garen just stride breakers and runs away. He doesn't even fight back. He says, "I've got the Dead Man's Blade. I can run faster than you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna regen all my health." And then go top again, and now your Renekton has no ult. My team is pushing bot lane. I'm pressuring your jungler off of his buffs. There's just too many things to do, and there's not enough people for Dog's team to deal with all of these threats.
Yeah, it's this topside jungle of the side of Dogs really isn't pairs. It's Sonic the Rocks.
And he's playing this really smartly. He knows that the enemy team is coming, so he's just gonna run out. He's not gonna fight. The Taliyah ult comes out, but there's just nothing for him to do here. Garen's is already gone. So he is playing the split push really, really, really well right now. Look, he's going in, he sees some people, he runs back away. Oh. And his team's got a free dragon for it.
Yeah. There's just so much pressure on this top side coming out from Garen playing so well, so successfully, that they have to send 2 or 3 every time just to make sure he doesn't take the inhibitor and end the game here. And that allows his team so much space on the map to do whatever they want, to take the turrets, to take the drakes, to get deep vision. This bot side jungle is so lit up, it's impossible for Noah.
I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if Nico becomes a Baron up minion. and jumps onto the team here. But Garen's just going in on 2 people and taking hardly any damage for it. But I am so excited to see this Neeko passive in use. I know it's coming. I know it's going to happen. And it's going to be the play that ends the game, I think.
I think a big problem is there's one deep ward which will see Neeko during the transformation.
She's quite low health now. She's going to have to back off. This Garen's just got to take the inhibitor already. He's toying around too much. If you're going to do that, you might as well go bot lane and hit the tower instead of the inhibitor, because if you're not taking the inhibitor, you're just standing there. You know, you've got pressure, you're drawing people to you, but if your team isn't able to get anything off of it, like what's happening right now, it's, you know, you're just in the top lane. And there's the inhibitor finally. He's fighting one. They find the kill onto Talia. Garen is trying to run it out. Renekton ulting. Garen ghosting away. And now Renekton is on his own, so Garen's going to turn around, put down the might of Demacia. Misfortune rooted up by Maokai ult. Maokai's going in on the Misfortune and she is going to die. Kai'Sa running down this Alistar, but Jarvan is here to back him up. The flash Q, I think he meant to flag and drag, but failed it. But now Garen is here. They are going to pile onto this Kai'Sa, and she is dead. And now with no carry left, no R is just going to chase down this Maokai, and he is going to die eventually. There he is. And Poppy is going to reset.
This could be Leah is just coming up. I don't think
this
they're going to end just quite yet.
I don't think this is quite the end of the game, but they're definitely getting the free inhib. I would like to see them turn their attention to this bottom lane tower because they've got a wave here ready to go. But Garen is staying top lane to apply some more pressure. That's a pretty smart decision from him. And he kills the Renekton once again. And now he's going to threaten to end the game. Neeko, stopwatch, flashing out, but Talia flashes after. Jarvan's stunned up by the rocks. Another stun. Jarvan is dead now. And this Garen's going to end the game by himself. 2 Nexus towers fall as dogs band together to drive him out of their base. But it's far too little, far too late. Their Nexus is now wide open.
Yeah, this Garen is just a little bit too far out of control, isn't it? Managing to open the Nexus by himself pretty much with a little help from the Alistar there. And now they have super minions pushing in on 2 sides. And in a minute, it's looking like they're going to find Soul Point, but more importantly, the Baron is up in 1 second. So we'll see how Noah wants to play around this Baron. Things towards the mid lane already coming out as Misfortune steps up towards it. This Baron would really be the catalyst to end the game. It really feels like there's one last fight in it for dogs. They can't make one more mistake. They have to be perfect in the fights. So we'll see how it goes. Assist pings coming out on the Baron.
Yeah, we've got to see one of their carries, Talia or Kai'Sa most likely. We've got to see them make a miracle play here. Garen drawing everyone to him. Oh, but he is caught out. That is some CC coming down onto him, but he's stride breakering, and he's just too fast. He's going to live, and his team now gets an uncontested Baron. And it really just feels like this Garen pick has just completely won the game for them. I don't think without the Hullbreaker Garen here generating so much pressure, the game turns out like this.
Yeah, it's the split pushing has been the key factor for Noah allowing all this space in the game. It allowed the bot lane to be pushed in, it allowed for breaks to be taken, and it allowed for picks, which led to their first round, which really blew open this game more than it already was, with a 10k gold lead now. 3 Jakes to 2 for the side of Noah, and it's really looking like this game is about to be over.
It's another free objective for Garen's team because dogs have got to send their entire team here to stand in front of Garen between him and the Nexus, or else he can just end on his own. They are engaging onto him. He takes half of his health bar, but he's totally fine. Alistar here, huge knock up onto 3 people, but running out. He's got his ult active, so he's pretty tanky. They're split up, and now Garen goes in the Stride Breaker, and he's going to spin to win on the Poppy while his team looks to end the game. Jarvan going in ulti Talia, but will die for it. Neeko dead as well. And I feel like there's a little bit of a misplay going on here. They all went to match the Garen, but can't just run in there like that. The Garen ult onto Talia, that's going to be a dead person, and the minions are going to end the game while Garen just spins around in the enemy team and picks up another double, and that's the game for No R.
That's going to be 1-1 in the series. We're going to go into Game 3. It's looking really exciting as both these teams are fighting to try and pick up this first win.
Yes, very, very exciting. I thought after that first game, No R, they might be a little disencouraged, a little down, but their top laner pulling out a deathless game. They're 12-0 on the Garen, an incredible performance from him to absolutely carry his team to that win and tie up the score. And I have to say, a lot of it stems out from that really early gank. If you remember, Jarvan went for this gank in the top lane, and Maokai was not able to counter it because their mid laner, Neeko, intercepted him. I feel that if Maokai managed to make it to the top lane there and counter that gank, the game could have gone very, very differently.
Yeah, it felt like that their jungler on the side of Noah tried to do something similar in the first game as well on the Nautilus, but instead of looking toward the top lane, it was the bottom lane, and they did manage to get a flash out, and that did lead to an advantage for the Jinx in that game. But it felt like this time they really managed to execute the plan a lot more successfully with them getting this lead on the Garen and then being able to push this forward and forward and forward, and then snowballing with that split pushing that was happening on the side lanes to make all the turrets fall. And it really felt like a suffocating game from the side of Noah there.
Yeah, I want to take a quick look at the stats here and read them out to you. This Garen had the most tower damage in the game, 12,000 tower damage. On the other side of the aisle, no one for the side of dogs even broke 2,000. So the tower damage is one of the stats that I personally like to look at when I'm split pushing because it's just an encapsulation of like how much pressure you're putting out on the map. But on top of that, the stats, which I think you guys are going to find a little more interesting, he managed to deal 40,000 damage. No one else broke 30K. And he had nearly double the amount of gold earned than the other top laner. He managed to rack up about 18K. Other top laner had 10K.
Yeah, it's if you look elsewhere on the map to the mid and the AD carry position, there were small leads actually from the sides of dogs there, but it didn't really matter with how dominant this Garen was in the top lane. It felt like anytime anyone went anywhere near him, they would just they'd just die. Garen would be like, "Do you really want to come near me?" And the answer was no, they did not. So yeah, it's they on the side of dogs, they need to find a way to stop that from happening again. And I feel like the key way to stop something like that from happening again would be tracking the jungler, as they didn't no neither team went for any early vision on the jungler to track where they were pathing, to track what they were trying to do. And in both games, it's led to early ganks, which have meant that people have lost flashes and lost sums, which has eventually led to them losing their life. And in this case, I believe it led to them losing the game. So
Yeah, and I feel like No R was making a lot of really smart decisions in this game that perhaps we didn't see in game one.
no,
The Jarvan, especially in the top lane, getting out the enemy top laner's flash and then coming back for the regank while the flash is down. Really smart play by him. And then their support recognizing right now, hey, my top laner is very far ahead. We've got a lot of pressure on the top side. We're picking up Herald. I should just roam with my jungler and get my top laner ahead, put him in a position to carry this game. So I feel like going into this game three, it's pretty clear where each team needs to focus their attention. No R most likely wants to play towards their top side,
Mhm.
and Dogs has to play towards their bot side. We did see a couple of dives on this MF, but it
Yeah.
wasn't enough for Dogs to get their AD carry super far ahead. It wasn't enough for him to
No.
carry that game. So I want to see a lot more focus in the bottom lane for Dogs. I want to see their jungler make some
Mhm.
proactive
Yeah.
plays and ganks in the bottom lane in this game three.
Yeah, it really felt like the Maokai they did have a couple of moments, a couple of ganks like on to the Nico in the mid lane. But it really felt a lot less impactful than the Jarvan did in this game. It felt like it was a lot less there and it was a lot less ready to fight. But if they can find a way to track um if they can find a way to um track with it a Kesa and they can find a way to counter the ganks and stop these leads from accruing, then I feel a lot more comfortable heading into this game three on the side of Dogs.
Yeah, I think Dogs, because we saw a gank in the bottom lane
Mhm.
when Alistair was roaming. We saw a nice four-man. The Misfortune just standing up a little too far, gets caught out and dies instantly. I
Yeah.
I feel like you could just do that a few times in a
Mhm.
row. Make sure you get the first tower in the bot lane
Oh, yeah.
before the enemy team can get the Herald and crack open top lane. And
Mhm.
then your marksman can start roaming the map. You can start making things happen, and you can bail out your top laner before the Garen gets the hull breaker, before he gets rolling and splitting. That's sort of you need when you've got the tempo like that. You've got to keep it going before your other side of the map falls behind. So
Yeah.
that's what I am looking for in this game three. Not too sure if either team is going to change much in the draft. I expect that we might see a Nico ban from the red
Mhm.
side. It's performed very, very well in both games. So I do not think that they want Dogs to pick it up in the round one pick here. So I expect Noir to use their only ban on the Nico this time.
Yeah. I'd hope so. It's been first picked in both games. It looked like the most impactful pick in the first game, and in the second game there were definitely some bright moments coming out from that Nico, which allowed them to win some of these fights and allowed them to dive a lot more successfully. And on the side of Dogs, I would want to try to go back to um their formula that they had before. But if the Nico does get taken away, I'm not sure what mid lane pick they'll replace it with. Maybe the Syndra, which they seem to think is quite high priority right now. It can do a similar thing to the Nico and find the picks in the lane, but it has a lot less trickery and is um a lot less likely to just find these picks in the early game as Nico is.
Yeah, Nico, I don't know. But I feel like Nico is strong, but not overpowered. But
No.
everyone's just making it look incredible this
Yeah.
series. So I think it's got to be the ban this time around.
Mhm.
And
Milioban again.
it did get overshadowed by the Garen this time.
Hmm.
Garen had that zero death performance, but you still saw it just perform incredibly. Um, I'm missing a
There's
draft link. Hold on. Okay, I've got the draft link.
Yeah, there is the
A little.
Nico ban as we wanted, and Garen ban I think is to be expected after that performance.
Yep, the Garen ban,
Mhm.
totally expected. Of course, the red side is banning the Nico away. Just like we said, it just makes sense here, you know.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and that was for even when they had the opportunity to look to something like the Lulu, they didn't take it instantly. So maybe on the side of Dogs, they are less scared of banning it here as Zaya is taken away again.
Yeah, they're
Oops.
leaving Lulu open this time.
Hmm.
They're seeing that the enemy team's support has shied away from the enchanters. They haven't picked any enchanters. Even when Lulu's banned, they don't go for the Janna or the Nami. They're just picking tank supports
Yeah.
anyway. So they said, you know what? Let's not waste a ban on Lulu. Let's stay with Melio because he's a very strong pick, regardless of his nerf in the last patch.
Yep.
And let's just ban something else that they play instead.
It's going to be Sejuani ban here. They're not deciding to go for the no ban. As Victor is picked up on the side of dogs, which is a homage back to game 1.
All right, this Victor, he did get a little bit put in his place by the Nico in game 1, but once he got out of lane phase, he actually did. He was able to do a bit of damage. He got back into the game after having 3 deaths in the lane phase, so not a bad pick at all.
And this is Nico coming out from Victor coming out from the other mid laner. Both mid laners just seem to be stealing each other's picks as Maokai has been picked up.
Could be a Maokai jungle again. I feel like you can't take Maokai top anymore because there's just champions that do what he does better in the top lane. So it's most likely going to be jungle again, but we will see. We will see. What I'm expecting out of dogs is for them to pick up their bot lane next. Kai'Sa is open, and that is their marksman's preferred pick. So I expect we'll see a Kai'Sa paired with a support.
Misfortune again.
Again, we see the misfortune. Really not very high impact in the last game, but maybe we'll see if he's able to do a little more in this second game that he's picking him. Zac picked up.
Yeah, I think Zac is one of the true comforts from the jungle on the side of dog. It's another one of these tanky engage champions, which, like the Sejuani, they've tend to perform on in their solo queue games and what they performed on in game 1.
Yeah, not a bad pickup at all. And the Twitch, wow! I was not expecting the Twitch at all. I figured, your ADC, you might have lost last game, but he was doing some decent work with the Kai'Sa last game. Just pick him again and try again on the next one. But going for this Twitch here, man, I don't even know how strong Twitch is on this patch. There's so many different items he can build. I don't think anyone really builds Infinity Edge that much. But speaking of Infinity Edge, Tristana is one of the champions that can build the Infinity Edge and make it work this patch. So that is going to be a misfortune support, most likely.
Or it could be the Tristana in the mid lane with the Maokai jungle.
Because, you're right. It could be that.
The Maokai's AP threat, and I believe in the prior game, Merc Trades did get picked up, like I said that they might be. So I think the Tristana makes a lot of sense into the Victor matchup as well. She gets a lot of early pressure with the ability to jump on, and then Victor can struggle to run away, and Tristana can get these trades down. So I'd like to see the Tristana be played in the mid lane here. But Misfortune support and Tristana AD carry could also work.
Yeah, exactly right. She will probably have that dominant lane phase into the Victor. She's got the pushing power early. She can go for all ins pretty easily. She takes towers quickly. Only thing is, I'm not sure if you really want 2 marksmen on your comp here, especially against something like the Zac that can get these engages onto your backline pretty easily if you're not careful.
And just a reminder, we're going to see 2 no bans from Noir here, as they were late to show up for their first game. So they're both going to be no bans. And the Tryndamere and Aatrox targeting this top lane, because dogs are going to have to blind pick their top laner, so they're trying to take away comfort from the side of Noir here in that top lane.
Yeah, not bad at all. I definitely think it's smart to target the top lane. I feel that Noir's support has been a little bit shaky this series, so they're going to say, you know what, just pick whatever you want, and we are going to make sure that our top laner is comfortable in his matchup, because last game the top lane did not go very well. So they're going to try and help him out a little bit this time.
And so I believe it's going to be the MF Zyra bot lane. This is a classic from all the way back in 2014 when Zyra's met it. It has a lot of range, it has a lot of poke, and it's very annoying. Speaking of range, poke, and annoying, Brand gets locked in.
Yeah, seems like the name of the game in this bot lane is going to be a lot of poke, a lot of sort of damage over time. Misfortune and Zyra pair fairly well together.
Yep.
Just because Misfortune slows, Zyra's got the plants, and it's a lot of poke over time. You can actually poke the enemy bot lane out of lane pretty easily once you get going. But there's the set. Finally, I said it was going to be contested a long time ago, and we haven't seen it from either team, but here it is finally in the flesh, picked up.
Yeah,
And
you've
we're
been
gonna
hoping
see
for this. Oh, Darius, that'd be interesting.
answered by Darius. It is going to be a fist fight in the top lane. I can tell you right now it's going to be a fist fight, okay?
Mhm.
They are going to go at it, and one of these top laners is going to get a solo kill. And actually, I don't know. It could be back and forth, but I feel like in this top lane, it could go either way. And there's gonna be kills. There will be blood.
I'm not too experienced on this matchup, I don't think. But I'm not sure who's quite favored in it. But I think with these two experienced players, whoever does get this lead, whoever does get the jungle attention, will be able to snowball and dominate this game.
Yeah, the only thing is Darius's bleed passive is really good in these extended fights, but Set is able to with his True Grit, he deals that big amount of true damage, right?
Yeah.
So if Darius is able to dodge all that true damage and then stay on top of the Set, I feel that he will have the edge in a 1v1 fight. But we'll just have to see how it actually goes in the game.
Yeah. In terms of what composition I like better here, I think maybe I'd be leaning towards the dogs composition a bit more. I believe they're both quite similar in terms of they're both looking for team fights, and they both have damage coming out in high amounts from the mid lane and the AD carry. But a lot of the damage from Noir is on the physical side, and they don't have as much AP damage coming out as the dogs have hybrid coming from the Victor, the Brand, and the Twitch. They have a lot of AP and AD damage, and I feel like on the side of Noir, they don't have a lot of appeal for the Zac after the Maokai comes out. So this Misfortune and Tristana might be in peril with this double AD comp. Maybe this is one of the games where they wanted more engaged tank peel support. So I don't know what your opinion is. I believe dogs have a stronger drafter.
It's hard for me to pick. Both teams just have gigantic carries in every single lane.
Yeah.
Both junglers, big beefy guys that can have a huge impact in team fights. It's going to be really, really interesting to see these two teams clash because anything could happen in any lane. Anyone could get ahead, anyone could get behind. I feel like it's all going to come down to who gets the leads in the laning phase and what do they decide to do with them.
Yeah, I think it's really going to come down to what these junglers decide to do early again. Who can get their lead onto the important characters, onto these Twitches, Tristanas, Misfortunes. Who can get the leads onto these characters? Who can snowball their team as much as possible? So if they manage to track the Zac or track the Maokai, get the counter gank off, that's going to be crucial in these early levels.
Yes, I can't pick either team this time. I don't know what to think with these comps.
Yeah, I
just
think
don't know.
dogs do have. I would feel slightly more comfortable putting them on a 5v5 stage when it's T1 versus down one, but in a amateur draft league, I think this is going to be really scrappy, and I think it's going to be really fun. So,
and nothing set in stone.
No, definitely not. No.
All right, we are in for an exciting game 3. Who is going to take the series? You are going to have to Wait around and find out. We'll be back in just a couple minutes with the third game of the series. Welcome back, everyone. It is game 3. We are tied up 1-1. We've got the dogs on the blue side and no R on the red side. I think we're in for a very, very exciting game here.
Yeah, hopefully. It's going to be scrappy matchups all around. It's going to be solo kills, hopefully. And it's going to be exciting.
Well, I would have liked to see this Tristana maybe take an ignite and try and get that early kill on the Victor. Just try and get a little bit of a lead, push the towers, make an impact on the map, but that's not what we're going to see this time.
There's both junglers are starting on the bot side this time. They're going to be, I think they've both caught on to the fact that top lane is the most impactful role as Tristana W's in.
The overlay is mixed up. Yeah, the overlay is a little bit messed up. We apologize for that. You know, things happen. There's technical issues all over the world every day. You know. But here we go. Already a little bit of trading in the bot lane. I think in the top lane there's going to be a lot of fighting. But we do see Set has the teleport, so he can do a little bit of trading and then back off and teleport back to lane. I think if he is able to leverage that teleport, he's going to be able to get something good going in his lane. Tristana with the level 2 jumps in, gets a huge chunk of damage onto this Victor. He will be using both his potions, and she's used her potion as well.
Zac is hovering. See if we can find an angle. In these early levels, the E doesn't fling as far as it maybe could. Spotted on vision, nothing's going to come with it. Yeah, the PTA on top of the bomb with this Tristana in the early levels will just chop through some of these squishier mages.
Yeah, PTA, not a super popular opinion. I know most people nowadays take lethal tempo over PTA, but the thing is with PTA is that, Zac is going in on the bottom lane, lands, knock up, Zyra will flash away, but she's getting beat up, and Brand will pick up that first blood. Huge damage coming out from him. Brand is one of those supports that you just take for damage, and damage he output onto that Zyra, and she will go down for first blood.
Yeah, he's very impactful in these early lanes to the ganks. He has great setup as you start to get the levels on the EQ. Has great follow-up CC as well, and he has a lot of damage as Victor's covered in.
It's
steadily a grunt back, holding his ground.
Oh, Maokai's on the other team. I had a brain fart there. I was like, why is he stealing Gromp? But of course, that is the other jungler there. So total brain fart from me. Brand getting rooted by the Zyra. Ignite goes on to him. Misfortune flashes forward and autos a minion. And Brand will live because of it. Now Twitch stepping forward with lethal tempo. Auto. Another flash forward. Is she going to burn out? I don't know. I don't think she is. Brand comes back in, lands the stun, and Zyra will die. Both Twitch and Brand live barely.
Yeah, all the health bars are incredibly low there.
Darius going in for a trade was set here, but Zac is here to gank him. He's taking a lot of damage from minions, but Zac is going to die instantly because Darius has his passive up already. If you don't know, you get 5 stacks. Oh, but Tristana in the bot lane jumping onto everyone. That's one. And Twitch is going to barely live with that invisibility. But as I was saying, the Darius, once you stack up your passive to 5 bleed stacks, you instantly apply 5 bleed stacks to anyone else you hit while you're fighting. So that Zac went in, but he got the passive put on him instantly, and Maokai was also there to counter the gank, and he gets punished for it.
Yeah, this is what we were saying about the jungler who can track the enemy jungler and come with this counter gank. Can really make an impact on some of these lanes. And there's leads occurring in the bot side for the side of dogs, and in the top side of No with kills on the Tristan and the Maokai, the assistant to that Darius. He gets lane control there. So it's going to be really who can carry, whether it's the bot lane of dogs here or the top side Noah.
Exactly like we thought. It's going to be who gets the leads and what are they going to do with them, because people on both sides of the map are gonna be getting leads somewhere, and we're just gonna have to see who can carry this game the hardest.
Yeah. As teams, Zac is hovering around spot side, putting some pings onto the Drake. I think they are trying to start it quite soon.
But Zac is getting seen by this ward. Tristana knows he's there, so there's not going
Maokai's
to
not
be a
seen.
gank in the mid lane. But there is going to be a gank in the bot lane. Maokai flashes forward, roots the Twitch, but Twitch is just walking away. Zyra does not get the root onto him as Maokai cued him in a different direction, so he is actually going to live there.
Yeah, it's a bit of counter synergy from the Q from the Maokai getting Brand out of the E from the Zyra, not getting locked up and not taking their advantages as they are given to them. And it's going to be a failed gank tank losing flash on the Maokai in terms of
With the
nothing from the
Brand
Twitch.
stun, and that's a pretty good chunk of damage onto the Misfortune here.
That's another positive trade there for the side of dogs, as Color's been the starter item for Aneki on all 3 of their 80 carry games. I think they actually could have Golden trying to focus on scaling. His first dragon is going to go to the side of Noah.
Yeah, Noir's top laner just casually walking into Zac's jungle here, flashing forward for the ult, the tower dive, and he's looking for more. He gets the Q, and that's the bleed onto the set. His ult has reset, but it will run out eventually. Oh, misses the Darius Q, and where is he going? Boom! Pulled up, thrown up, and slammed into the ground, and that'll be a 1-4-1. But using that information, knowing that Zac is in the top lane, Noir is able to pick up an uncontested Mountain Dragon.
Yeah. I'm not sure that's entirely worth for the Darius there, losing the flash and giving the kill over to the set. It's going to be losing a lot of minions, which Tristana has to rotate to pick up as Zyra comes into the mid lane. It's some nice macro play to make up for it with Tristana rotating up to this top lane to catch the wave. But I feel like a little bit of a misplay there from Sonic the Rock on the Darius.
And now Noir is looking for another jungle objective in this Herald. Man, it feels like dogs are not tracking the jungler very well at all. They were unable to deal with the dragon. Now they're going to be unable to deal with the Herald. This Darius is just walking at people, and everyone is flashing away from him. You've got to respect the Darius a little bit more and just step away from him. You can't be getting pulled and wasting your flash like that. That's twice now that we've seen that happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be a free...
Darius...
Sorry, go on.
Yeah,
But that's
I
a
was
free
just gonna
Rift
say-
Herald to Noir.
Yeah, the Darius can become a real bully when he gets up to these 5 stacks. You can't take these trades against him. It's just you will not get away with it the same way you will against some of the other top players in the game.
And it looks like Noir is starting to get an early bit of lead here. They're getting the objectives. Their mid laner already on his first item. It will be a Kraken Slayer.
Yeah, Kraken Slayer has appeared to be the priority pick on a lot of these crit favoring AD carries. Maybe it looks like there's something brewing in the bot lane for the side of dogs here.
Their
I can't
jungler is
wait.
here. He knows there's no vision on him. He's going to be patient and wait for it. He's looking, misses
Oh.
the slingshot and the Q. Really unfortunate, but he does manage to get Misfortune's flash out. He will be losing his blue buff for that though, and they are duking it out in the top lane. Just beating their fists against each other.
Yes, a lot of fighting all around the map. It's laning leads have been
Zac looking for
accrued.
another gank. Gets nothing again though. But now Maokai is here in the top lane. Ult is down. They're looking for the dive. Sets true damage, not going to land, but he ults Maokai back into his tower, and he is still alive. They go, excuse me, and they get a dive off in the mid lane. Twitch roaming to the mid lane to get a dive off on Tristana.
Yeah, it's gonna
And
be the
that'll be 2 kills.
Delta Triumph there that allowed the set to live from after the bleed. It looked like a guaranteed kill.
Oh, and Zyra flashes forward, gets the root ult, Misfortune ult onto his head, and Brand is punished for face checking that bush.
And this is some of the synergy, but it seemed like they were lacking a
Tristana's
bit.
teleporting top. They're looking for the set. Set seeing if he can get something on this Darius. Maybe just going to run up to Tristana, but here is the counter teleport a little bit late. I don't think they realized that Tristana was arriving here, but now everyone is here. Tristana flashes away just in time, but now the other jungler is here as well. And Set will be dying. Nobody else dies, but no R are going to have to back off here.
Yeah, it's great teleport, great a great vision to spot the opportunity there. And I was just gonna talk about the some of the synergy coming out from Levi and Proxy here, which we felt like they were lacking a bit in game 1, maybe found it a bit in game 2, but it's really starting to thrive with Proxy seeing the angle to flash on top of the overextended Brand trying to clear the ward, and they were they were together in that play to kill that Brand with the Misfortune and Zyra combo there, so I think really well played all around from the side of the
He's looking for a pick in the mid lane again, but he does not know that Maokai is here. The Maokai ult, the root, knocked back with the Q, and Tristana is going to try and blow this Twitch up, but Tristana does not have Ignite, so Twitch barely lives there. Root on a Set, and he'll be just fine, but no R is now looking to try and take this dragon.
Yeah, and this has been played really well from Asa, the jungler of Noir here. His Brand is
Looking for an ult.
Maybe
He gets the
he's
ult,
dead.
but he is dead instantly, and Noir gets a free dragon once again. It seems like the Zyra is doing fairly well into the Brand. Brand can't really step up at all, or else he gets rooted and dies very, very quickly.
Yeah, it's
But there's a gank coming here. The flash for the stun. But
great
Tristana
buffer.
is able to buffer her rocket jump and gets out. Darius going in on the Victor. He's going to ult, and that'll be a dead Victor. You have to respect the Darius with the ghost. He can just run you down. Victor had maybe 3-5 seconds left on his flash, but it's just not up in time. And that's another kill for this top laner here.
Yeah, this is just another example of just disrespecting the Darius. Pop that ghost can just run you down when you get those 5 stacks. You're going to be taking a lot of damage from the Nox.
Oh, he's looking. It's going to be a lot of damage. There's the ult. But Tristana rocket jumps away just in time. I feel like right there you've got to use your W while the Tristana is stunned. You have to get that damage off, or else she is going to get that jump and get away from you. You've got to get the damage out faster.
But yeah, I just want to return to my point from earlier. A-Star has been playing incredibly this game. It feels like whenever a play is happening, whenever this side of dogs are trying to make a play, Ace is always there in response.
Look, he's looking for another
is
Herald.
getting something on the other side of the map, as I was going to say, whether it's a Drake or a Herald or a play. Been playing incredibly well on this Maokai pick.
No R is just lining up for these jungle objectives. They are getting in the line, getting in line at midnight for the pre-order, and they're just taking these objectives as soon as they spawn. And Dogs has not figured it out yet. It's 15 minutes into this game. No R is taking their 4th uncontested jungle objective. You've got to be warding these. You've got to be paying more attention and be getting ready for when they spawn, because if you don't, No R is going to get this gigantic lead. They're going to get the map pressure from using the Heralds, and they're going to use that map pressure to get more dragons, which is going to lead to the soul and a winning of the game. They're up 3,000 gold right now.
Yeah, it's already led to the it's already led to this massive gap in the in the top lane that the freedom of the junglers provided for the Darius with these dives coming out, which although the CS and kills are quite even, the first turret being gone just allows Acer to go wherever he wants in at that top side. And now looking to do a similar thing, bottom, place his Herald and get that tier 1 cracked as well, and Lil Tommy is none the wiser.
Yeah, it feels like there's a bit of a jungle difference here, not in the ganks, but just in the awareness of where you need to be, of what objectives are up. And it looks like Asa is just making the most of it. He is getting all this stuff for free, uncontested, and it's not just the jungler's problem, though. The rest of the dogs have got to be responding as well. We've got to get some wards out somewhere. As a Zyra ult, a little preemptive, not going to catch anyone out there. Very close, though.
I think it was just trying to clear the wave and threaten a bit. I believe they should be able to pick up something.
Free tower for Noir. But here's the gank. Slingshot goes long. I think he did that intentionally, but he'll be missing the Zac Q. And Tristana will get out for free. Oh, but a little bit aggressive here. But I think she'll be fine.
Yeah, there just seems to also be some mechanical misplays coming out here from Lil Tommy on this Zac. Just a few of these E's going wide, a few of these W's going, or Q's going wide, sorry, a few of these W's going wide. Oh, wait, Q. I don't know how Zac works.
It's,
I think I do.
So, the way Zac works is...
The W is the
Q
slingshot.
No.
Is the...
Your W is just it just deals some damage around you. It's
Okay. Yeah, okay.
And your Q throws out the arm, right? And then you have to auto something to actually get the CC. So look, there's the first Q, but he's got nothing to auto, so it doesn't pull him back.
Zac is just one of those champions that I've never played, but I have like a very vague understanding because I'm a Viego one trick, you know.
Same.
You know how it is.
Yeah, same for me and Rel. Ever since Rel was reworked, I don't know. I never bothered to learn. But Darius in this top lane beating up on the tower while Dogs has finally gotten the memo and they are grouping for this dragon now.
But whilst they're getting this dragon, the lead that's been occurring on the top side, it just allows...
Oh, big damage, and there's the ult on the Zyra. She is stunned, but Victor is dead, and Zyra actually lives, flashing out, and they get a second pick here onto the brand. Zac has to flash away. Twitch did not even participate in that fight at all. So this Zyra really doing a lot of work here.
Really, can we talk about these Chem Dragons?
What's wrong with the Chem Dragon?
It's just 3 in a row.
Is it seriously the 3 Chem Dragon souls in a row?
Yeah.
It's yeah, I don't know.
It's getting a little ridiculous, I think. That's quite statistically.
Oh my goodness, what is happening here?
Oh.
Misfortune a little bit caught out, but not in actuality. She'll be going down, and that's a shutdown, but her entire team is here to pick up the kill onto Twitch, so it's a 1-for-1, and they'll be getting bot tower with that Herald. And now they're kiting out the set, trying to get some waves pushing here.
This is looking really reminiscent of Game 2
Uh-oh.
of Leeds.
Uh-oh, he's up a little too far. He gets ulted. Zac is here. The flash, the Tristana ult, but there's just not enough tools for this Tristana to get away. So a shutdown going to the side of Dogs. A much needed shutdown as they are falling further and further behind.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say it's quite reminiscent of Game 2 with this massive gap on the top side with all the turrets cracked open and the pressure that Darius is drawing, and when Darius is not drawing pressure, he's taking turrets. So it's a great top lane performance once again. And the only difference this time is that Noah have got these Drake stacked, sorry, and they're on Soul Point already, which is another avenue for them to win the game, maybe quicker this time. But it's not all over yet for the side of Dogs. They still have avenues. Twitch can still become a monster in the team fights along with Victor.
And we're gonna have to see if if Dog's ADC can come online with the second,
Mhm.
this third item, and really carry some team fights. You know, the surprise factor in the Twitch, it can always make things a little bit
Yeah.
difficult. He can pop up at any time from any angle, so you've got to be careful even when you have a lead. It looks like he'll be building a static Shiv second, so he's going to have a decent amount of burst. He'll have really easy wave clear too. That item is crazy this patch. So we're gonna have to see what he does with it. But looks like NR Noir are trying to get vision for an upcoming Baron, maybe.
Yeah, no one love this going for this Baron. They love trying to take this Baron as early as possible, as quickly as possible, and with this double marksman composition, they have the ability to do so. So
It looks like Tristana is backing. No, not quite yet. But Noir's mid laner is looking to maybe get a back in first, and then they try to force a Baron fight, something like that. Oh, but she's up a little bit far. Here comes the set. Does not manage to get the stun. Yeah, it's really hard timing to get the stun off there.
yeah. And the thing to note is that the Tristana does have the teleport, whereas the set who's contesting the wave does not have the teleport up and available in this situation. So if a fight is to ensue, the Tristana can make it there, and the set cannot, as the stun just barely misses.
It's not cancel the recall, but I think they are just about to get it started. Here it goes. Teleport comes out.
This double
Do
marksman
the
does
dogs have
one-shot this
any
Baron.
clue? I don't think they do.
Yeah, they just don't know. It's just going to be a free Baron up for the side. It just got vision now, I believe.
It's just a free Baron, and all they lose is their first mid lane tower. And their bot lane tower. So that's 2 towers, but Baron is huge at this point in the game. They've got such a big lead that it's definitely worth it to lose a tower or two when you're this far ahead for a Baron.
Indeed, it is. As Tristana is walking down with these Baroned up minions, she'll start to really chunk through
Tristana is
this.
up a little far. She's got to be a little careful and wait for her team. Her team has looked to reset. I think what you do here is you use Baron to sort of leverage some pressure mid. You put some pressure on the tower, and then you rotate over to get the Dragon Soul. The Dragon Soul should be uncontested if you play it right.
Yeah, it certainly should be. I'm not sure if from the Son of Dogs they even attempt to make a steal for the Dragon Soul. I feel like anything too fast and too rash is going to without something like a pick onto this Tristana in the mid lane, which might be coming.
When I was mistaken, actually, it's not a static Shiv on the Twitch. It is the Kraken Slayer. A little bit different, but I guess the idea there is instead of trying to get the initial burst, you're trying to go for a long team fight with your heavy front line. But dogs actually are the first ones on this dragon. They are trying to take it. And the Maokai ult, Misfortune ult zones off 2.
That gets it.
Zac picks up the dragon, set ult in, boom! And that's 1 down. The slam, and he is punching this tree very hard, but it's not going to matter. Zac flashes forward, but the Darius heal keeps him alive, and he ults onto the Zac's head, and that is going to be 4 dead. Noir lose the dragon, but win the fight, and they are going to push for some towers now.
Yeah.
With Baron.
And with only the brand being up, there's the ability to clear this wave, but he's a bit behind, and maybe with
Are they looking to
just going to
end?
march in and looking to
They're gonna
this
end.
game.
This Tristana is taking a tower instantly.
5 seconds up on Twitch.
Enemy team
Yeah,
does
they-
not have
that's
enough
the game
time to
over.
respawn. Brand has not been able to clear this wave out. Twitch, you've got a space glide. That's 1.
We're not hitting the Nexus, and there it is.
And that is gonna be
series.
the end of the game and the series. Yeah. Noir taking it from behind to come
Yeah, it
out
was
on
a-
top 2-1.
It was a bit of a
Wow.
shaky first game, but after a carry performance from Sonic the Rock in the second and a great all-around performance, which had been a bit of a slower game in the third, it was well played from Noir to get the win on this series, their first win on the board. and Dogs will still be looking for their first win in their next game.
Yeah, and I do have to say, no R, they did look pretty shaky in that first game, but in
Mhm.
games 2 and 3, they seem to have it on lockdown. They
Yeah.
seem to have everything under control. They would get these little leads and then build them up, build them up. They played really,
Mhm.
really well around the jungle objectives.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of free dragons and heralds that honestly they should not have been free at all.
No.
But the other team, the dogs just were unaware that they were being taken, not setting up the proper vision beforehand. They were not in a position to rotate to them at
Mhm.
all. So props to Noir for making the most out of that and taking advantage of the situation. And with that, they win the series.
Yeah, it's they really managed to utilize the lane pressure that they did garner, and even when they didn't have lane pressure, they got these objectives through things like cross mapping when dogs were using their tempo to try and make plays and try and make dives on the other side of the map, and it was well played grabbing these jungle objectives, which gave them avenues to get pressure elsewhere on the map and to overall succeed in their conquest of winning this game. So
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to see too. Is if one jungler's doing something on one
Mhm.
side of the map,
Yeah.
and like you've got the mid laner there, everyone's collapsing. It creates a sort of black hole on one side of the map. You have your jungler just go to the other side of the map
Mhm.
because there's a whole other half of the map that has no action. It's not being
Nope.
exploited, and when one team focuses on one side, they're not going to be able to react to
Mhm.
what's happening on the other side. And so it just really smart plays, trading some objectives when they had to, I think in the earlier games, but just picking up a lot of these free objectives in this third game and going for dives on the opposite side of the map where they could. Just really nicely played by them. So
Yeah.
really well done playing the map.
Yeah. It's also that and their team synergy in these fights looked a lot better in these last two games. Their bot lane, their AD carry and their support looked a lot more synergized, a lot more together than they did in that first game. So just success all around from the sides of No R.
I do. Are we gonna get a interview here? I don't see anyone in any voice chats. I think we might not be able to do an interview this time around. I'm not seeing it. Oh, they are. They're
Mhm.
here. So I do. So they're deliberating on who they want to send over. I think so. We're waiting to see who they choose. Um, I have seen before captains just choose themselves just because, nothing wrong with that.
No.
But a lot of fighting, very exciting
Mhm.
games, don't you think?
Yep. The third was a bit slower, a bit more controlled, but yeah, it was definitely very bloody in these games, as we have come to expect from the Draft League.
Yeah, not as many kills in the top lane in this game 3 as I expected. I expected there to be a lot more than in game 2, but game 2 was the one that had all the kills. So yeah, that's what you want to see when teams are playing all together competitively. You want to see
Mhm.
teams group together. They figure out, when they lose, they figure out what they did wrong. When they win, they figure out what they did right. And you want to see how these teams mesh and deal with the issues and play together. And No R just managed to do that. They looked at their game one and said, okay, we've got some problems that need
Mhm.
fixing. We've got some things we can improve on, and they managed to come together and win 2 games in a row. And
Yeah,
it's just a really nice showing from them. But
yeah,
no, it's a nice showing from Dogs too. They just happened to lose this time around.
yeah.
And sounds
I
like we
agree.
are going to get an interview with No R's
Hello, hello, hello.
Jungler. Welcome to the interview room. I'm the one who's supposed to be asking questions. I didn't think of questions. Hey, Zyda, do you have any
Oh
questions?
goodness.
What, you gotta ask a
Um,
question while I think of a different question.
But yeah, it's just questions.
Yeah. Okay. So about those jungle objectives,
Uh-huh.
did you have any idea that the other team was just they were not reacting to the jungle objectives? Because we saw you a lot in these last couple games. You were going for some free Rift Heralds and Dragons. Were you like aware that they had no clue you were doing them?
I mean, at least in the third game, I think with Maokai, it gave us a lot more. It gave us a lot more pressure on the objectives, at least to be able to, Maokai E can zone really well for objectives as well as his ult. So at least we kind of I wouldn't say that necessarily that we didn't know that they knew that we were on them, but that we were confident that we could take the objectives without them being able to contest them.
Yeah, right. That makes total sense actually. Though. So like you know that if the enemy team shows up, you've got your teammates have got your back. You can go at a snap. You've got the communication and you can work together and take down whoever comes in contest. That makes total sense. That's a good plan. Psyduck, you got to think of a
Yeah.
question too.
In that first game, it seemed like you're trying to put your pressure more towards the bot lane with that Nautilus pick, which seems so long ago now. Do you have any comments on the Nautilus pick and what you changed up to be more successful in the second two games?
Yeah. So I've been working on the Nautilus pick for like a year and a half. I've been trying to let my cap. I've been trying to let it cook, but my cap. Yes, exactly. I had to fight tooth and nail to let make them let me play Nautilus, and that first game was let's just say it wasn't too great.
No.
But I think over time, at least I've seen it in pro play. It seems to work pretty well. I've enjoyed playing Nautilus Jungle. I played it back when it was like, I played it like back when it was like season 5, season 6, when it was actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoy playing Nautilus Jungle. It just has like a hard time with like clear speed. So it was just they were constantly at objectives where I wasn't able to be there. And just slowly we were just bleeding gold everywhere. So it was hard to come back in that scenario. But yeah, I think going back to like more general like meta type junglers, games 2 and 3 made it a lot easier, especially because they had quicker clear speed, so I could actually keep up with the enemy jungler.
Do you
Yeah, it
think
was-
do you think after that game 1 you're gonna take the scapegoat role and your captain's gonna prevent you from playing Nautilus ever again?
Yes, most definitely. He will never let me
Oh.
play Nautilus again. He will
Painful.
never let me play it
Yeah.
again.
But
Man.
fortunately, he came up with a bit of a carry performance to bail you guys out in game 2 and bail out that Nautilus jungle, and then in game 3 it was just dominant all around from you guys.
Yeah, really nice dives. I really like the map play. You seem to know what you were doing. When one jungler would go one way, you'd go for the counter, or you knew that dive was possible on the other side of the map. So, really quick thinking on your part. I'd like to say that's a good job on your part.
I definitely couldn't have done it without my teammates because they called most of those plays. My macro is not as good as it looked. Those were some very interesting games in terms of macro for me. But yeah, luckily I have good teammates, so I can rely heavily on them to tell me where the heck I need to go.
Does it just feel like a bit your top leader says come top, enemy jungle's on the timing, then you're like come top and you're like, oh my god, we just won the game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nothing wrong with that. Some teams,
Yeah.
some teams have their shot callers, and if you're not the shot caller, if you're just the guy that takes the orders and it works out, totally nothing wrong with that. Any last thoughts you have for the stream, for your teams, for anyone else out there listening as you take this first win in the draft league tournament?
Oh yeah, I just want to tell everyone that that our team name, no R, the R stands for practice.
Wait, I'm not sure that's
Let me think
quite
about
how
that for a
spelling
second.
works, but
Let me think about that for several seconds.
I was just told I needed to say that.
All right.
Okay. All right, very nice, and thank you for the interview, and we hope to see you guys again in the playoffs. Brain fart again. Sorry. We hope to see you guys again later, and we wish you luck in the rest of this tournament. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you all for casting it.
Right.
And
Thank you
chat,
very much.
thank all you guys for watching. I have been your host and also your play-by-play fill-in, Willie, and I have been joined by my co-caster Zyduk. Any last thoughts before we close out the stream?
I am very tired. It is 4 a.m. I'm excited to go to bed.
All right. Let's say goodnight to Zyduk. Good night, Zyduk. And thanks for joining us, everybody. And we will be back again next week with week 3 of the Risen Draft League.
Thanks very much, guys.